Yo, 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 yo. It is another episode of the Weekend Rhyme, the number one hip hop podcast on the weekends, in the game, around the world, on the
Yeah.
planet, Earth, Mars, Venus, wherever you may be tapping in from. The Weekend Rhyme is the number one podcast, hip hop podcast on the weekends to give you what you need. What's up, man? My name is RKY, aka Prime. That is Leroy Green. What's good, brother?
What's good? What's good? I'm good. I'm back in the building. Happy to be here. Ready to give y'all a good show, man. You know what I
Y-
mean? So
y'all must be feeling
hip
good
hop.
on y'all must be feeling good on the West Coast right now. Y'all must be feeling real
Yeah.
right now. Y'all feeling good.
No doubt. Absolutely. I mean, I listened to the Kendrick again. You know, when I said yesterday I hadn't really listened to it all the way through. I was able to listen to it again in full. I may have to up the score on that. You know what I mean? It is a good project. So I'm still gonna listen. Like when I get on here, get off of here, I'm still gonna listen. But it's fire, man. You know what I mean? And just real briefly, well, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. You know what I mean? But it's
We're
good.
gonna get into, so we got yesterday the internet was jumping. We had a surprise release of GNX of Kendrick Lamar, came out, dropped his album, 12 tracks. People were talking about it, people gave their opinions. We jumped on last night and kind of touched on it a little bit. Um,
Yes.
are you on your second or third listen? Where you at with it right now?
I'm on probably like my third listen. And Kendrick, phenomenal MC. He's given the culture what it needs right now. You know what I mean? Sometimes the game needs a shot in the arm. You know what I mean? A boost in the arm, uh, just of energy. You know what I mean? Of some good energy, and he's given that. He not only is he on wartime, but it's a balance still. You know what I mean? And I wanted to talk to everybody a little bit about a balance. You know, you got to have both, you know what I mean, in a project. A little bit of that war energy, a little bit of that peace energy, and then there's stuff in between. You know, since I got here, I've been talking about a duality and I've been talking about balance. If there's one word I can come in and leave the pod space in, it's balance. At the end of the day, and I'm gonna get into that later on because Absol's project, it deals with two. You know what I mean? It deals with a balance. So I'm gonna ask him a little bit about that. But Kendrick, he gives you a little bit of everything, man. You know what I
And
mean?
about that T2 Judgment Day, you can stay and watch the show because obviously you're a fan. Absol will be pulling up in a bit, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Get your popcorn ready. T2 and
No.
others that are such haters, enjoy the show. But anyway, go back to what you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, as far as the show goes, right, and as far as two things go. When I say two, I mean me and you, meaning the person watching the show right now. I'm not my ego because I'm gonna talk about Ice Cube's his songs a little bit too. My ego is not big enough for me to ever think that I'm bigger than hip hop. I'm here to give hip hop something because hip hop's been there for me all my life. And you, as the viewer, by you watching the show, you give me somebody to give these messages to. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, hip hop is going to be, I'm making the argument that hip hop is the greatest artistic art form that we have seen on ever. You know what I mean? And somewhere in the future in history, they're going to go back and look at hip hop, look at these interviews, and document it and be like, how is hip hop that big in this person's mind? So you know, I just say that to say it's two things going on. I wouldn't be here without y'all, without Mike, without Ron, without there is no pod space without the audience. And we got to deliver dope, dope content that really goes in depth about this culture and the music. So someone like Absol, he gives me the grounds to do that with his material. And we can, if y'all got questions in the chat, you know what I mean. He said he might be running a little late, but we don't know. We'll see him when he gets here. But y'all give me questions too. I got my own questions about Soul Burger the album. I got my own questions about TDE. How does it feel, to see his man, what I mean, Kendrick doing what he does at a high level this year. So y'all feed me questions, man. but we working together, man. Me and you. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, I had a chance to listen to the album today, and I did listen to the preview for the second part of the show. I did listen to Ice Cube's album. I'll share my thoughts on that as well. So again, this is a big. If you saw the thumbnail, you got Absol, you got Ice Cube, you got Kendrick. It's real West Coast inspired tonight. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
so
no doubt.
I want to talk about the Ice Cube album. I want to talk about his legacy a little bit at the end of the show. I didn't get a chance to, and you know what? I'm since it's the holiday season. It's the
Yeah,
holiday season. We might do a couple of special shows. There was a couple of hip hop documentaries that came out. French Montana has a documentary on Paramount Plus. Megan Thee Stallion has a documentary on Amazon Prime, and Shyne has one on Hulu. And I wanted to sit
yeah,
down with those documentaries and really study those real quick. And I want to do a proper show. So I may, you know what, we may be generous. You know, it's the holidays, it's the gift giving season. You know what I'm saying? And the
right.
gift that you can give to us right now is hit like and subscribe. We want to continue bringing you interviews, exclusives. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. Get us to 100,000 subs, man. That's what we want to do. So we can have a festival. And once we get unlock that,
Yeah,
we'll have the budget to do that. But make sure you hit like and subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. But yeah, we might do
yeah.
a special show tomorrow on those documentaries. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll cook up, man. I got a lot going on. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to cook up. But like you said with the festival, right now we're building the rapport of that. You know what I mean? So in asking artists to come on the show, we're building those relationships with the artists and letting them know that this is a artist first platform, meaning that I'm not here to try to gossip on the artist or get a I gotcha moment. I'm here to let them tell their story. You know what I mean? And them explain the inspiration behind their music so that hip hop knows, and you heard it from the person first. You know what I'm saying? So we're starting that process. I know eventually, we're gonna get there. And y'all gonna see it, man. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
Y'all gonna see it.
and after listening to this Cube album, Man Down, I want to interview Cube. That's the next person I want to interview. I mean,
I
after
mean,
Absol tonight, I think we're gonna stay on the West Coast. I want to interview Cube. I want to interview Game. I want to interview um who else I want to interview? Nah, we get Nas in there, but I think right now the next
it's,
interview
it's
I'm focused on, I want to interview Cube. We got a Nappy Roots interview dropping on Black Friday. I'm trying to get that together right now, but Nappy Roots next week. But I didn't want to interview Cube, Game, um, of course, I want to interview Lotto. The Lotto interview is coming. I'm working on the
right.
Lotto interview. But I think Cube, I want to talk to Cube. I think Cube would be good.
I
Maybe
mean
Killer Mike too.
that would be phenomenal. That I mean, there are some inroads that I have access to. Nas, I don't have that inroad. Cube, I don't have that inroad. Game could be a possibility. But all things could work. All the best we can do is just ask. You know what I mean? We just ask and see what happens. I mean, that's basically the best what we could do. You know what I mean? So, but that would be fire. Cube, he's a legend, a legend of legend. A lot of what goes on in hip hop, we owe that to, not just Cube, but Cube was a huge factor. We're talking about, late 80s, early 90s. Obviously, Cube had a huge impact, had a huge voice, had classic records. So, I mean, that would be, incredible. You know what I mean? So,
It's funny. People say, I'm looking at the, and I'm trying not to look at the comments, but I see a lot of clowns in here. They say they don't like our show, but that's fine. But you continually be in the
no, cool.
comments. You continuously watch it, and we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you saying you don't like it because every time you engage with the platform is a win for both of us. So the engagement is good. So
Well,
keep it up. So tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, but don't touch that dial because when the episode comes on, it's gonna be a good conversation. But anyway, continue, Leroy. What were you
yeah.
saying?
Well, the people that do like the show and that are silent, you know what I mean. I'd appreciate it if you give a voice to that as well. At the end of the day, for me personally, it's just about delivering good, constructive hip hop content. You know what I mean, for the betterment of the culture. Whenever I wear my Nipsey Hussle shirt, my mind is in in a certain place. You know what I mean? Because he felt he felt it was his obligation to serve, you know what I mean, and carry the culture to a certain place, you know. So it's like I take that very serious. So it's like regardless of what people say, regardless of even my own you know ways of dealing with people or whatever, it's still hip hop is the bigger cause. You know what I mean? Seriously, hip hop is the bigger cause, and these artists put a lot into their music, just like we put a lot into the show, just like the fan does, listening and paying for their music that comes from the artists in this culture. So let's build it up, man. Let's build it up. You know, some people, when I do the Ice Cube review, because some people think I like every album. That's not always the case. Earlier with Ice Cube, I mean with Ghostface, I wasn't really on it like that. With Cube, I may have to listen again, but sometimes we're gonna have uh, things like we're gonna hear music that we don't always like. We may have an issue with a project or artist or a song, but let's not beat down on how much we don't like it or how much. Let's remember how much an artist has contributed to this culture. So though we may not like something in the moment, I'm not here to bash the artist. I know I said that from the gate. You know what I mean? So people might be tired of hearing me say that. But it's like in a lot of commentary, I don't have a problem with people saying they don't like something. But when you get to the point of where you have to slash and cut at this artist over and over and over, I think you may be going a bit too far. And even as far as Kendrick, for those that was standing on the square like I don't like Kendrick, I don't like Kendrick, I don't like Kendrick. Stand on your square, man. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your square. You know what I mean? But I'm not on that time. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and I think it's a way to elevate the conversations, right? Even with
Yeah,
critiques and like from legacy media, from um, Revolver, or Spin Magazine, Rolling Stone, Vibe Magazine. Who else you
yeah,
got? You've got the Independent. You've got all the legacy media outlets, right? You got you got Vibe, you got the Source, XXL, you got Hip Hop DX. I mean, there's a way you can talk about albums without talking about personal preference, right? Because again, art is
right,
subjective. You may like us. You might see a piece of artwork at a studio. You may like it. You may think it's the best thing you ever saw, or you might, not like it. Right? It's all
right,
subjective. And music, music has a relationship to people, right? It gives you an emotive feeling. It takes you. Sometimes music is spiritual. Sometimes music is puts you in a happy place. Sometimes it puts you in an aggressive place. Sometimes it puts you in a dark place or in an enlightened space. And music hits different notes and resonates in people's brain and frequencies a little bit differently. So, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to, me personally, as someone that's in this space, not talk about what I don't like so much, but what I'm trying to look at, what is the artist trying to accomplish, right? Now, it could be for me, it could be for me, and it could not be for me. That's not the point. Whether I like it or don't like it, I'm gonna try to elevate my conversation in a way that says, okay, this is what the artist was trying to do. So for example, on GNX, I hear an
right.
artist, taking a victory lap. And I got a couple text messages from my guys. Shout out to Ronve, shout out to Esquire, shout out to people that's been hitting me on this project. It's a victory lap, right? But in that victory
Yeah,
lap, I hear, someone struggling, to reconcile, the wartime and peacetime, a
right,
consciousness and a place where war, is a lack of consciousness sometime in battle. It takes you to a space where you have to be, get outside of yourself to engage
right.
your ops. So I understand the struggle on that album, but for me, um, it's West Coast. It's a West Coast album. I think he's on his West. The music is a little bit more aggressive. To my point,
Mm,
he put a lot of West Coast artists on this project, and when I think about it, until proven otherwise, this is Kendrick Lamar's year, 2024. I know
no
Apple
doubt.
Music made him Rapper of the Year. He had a Super Bowl performance. He had an Amazon Prime show, which was dope. Um, he won the battle between him and Drake. Um, I think his streaming
Yeah.
numbers were up, and then he dropped GNX. So yeah, whether you like the music or not, if you just give me an objective in stating this is his, who else could you give it to? It's Kendrick Lamar's
Yeah.
year, 2024. It is what it is.
True. That's true. And I hope to ask about that. But a real good point that you made is like when we have artists, right? An artist, let's say over the course of 10 years, that artist delivers 5 albums, right? So yes, I'm looking at is the album, do I like the album? Of course, that should go without being said. However, I'm really looking at did the artist accomplish what the theme and message of the album was? Like they go into an album for a reason, so now I'm looking at was that reason delivered at a high level, and that's a big. I look at the intent behind the music also, and that's a big because I don't expect. That's a big factor because I don't expect all the albums to be the same, right? You have, folks know I use Jay-Z a lot, but you have American Gangster 444 Volume 2, uh Watch the Throne, and Kingdom Come. Those albums are the Black Album. Those albums don't have the same mission. Each album has a different reason for why it exists. So now I'm looking at, okay, if Jay-Z is going to make an American Gangster, did he check all the boxes on the content of what that is, what it means to be that or do, you know what I mean? So that's just one main point I want to make because I don't want that to get lost, you know what I mean? So that's how I look at albums as well, you know what I mean?
No doubt. Yeah, and that's what we got to do, man. But we will have our list. I mean, we're coming down to the end of the year, and I've got some
Yeah.
ideas. I've got some ideas. The top 10, my top 10 hip hop albums of 2024, and I
Your
think
top 10. Okay.
everybody. Well, we can go 20. We go 15. Where are we trying to
Yeah.
go with it?
Well, I definitely always have a top 10 for
Let's do 10.
sure.
Let's do 10.
But
Let's do
no,
10
but
because
I do. I'm gonna say 20 though, because here's why. Like, if I just do 10, I'm gonna leave some fire out there on the table. So I don't want to leave no fire out there. I want to get all the fire that was out there, or most of it, and over the course of a month of December, I can discuss the 20 through 15. Then the next week, the 15 through 10, then the 10 through 5, then the 5 to the 1. And I could give y'all, a lot of breakdown about why I, made my particular list. But everybody make your list, you know what I'm saying? So you could fight with me on the list. That's all good. You know what I'm saying?
no doubt, no
But
doubt,
yeah,
no doubt. So yeah, so GNX. Again, this is the second day with the album. I've got to sit with it some more. But
yeah,
I think it's his best work since Damn, obviously. And
right,
then after a month or two with it, we can kind of place it with where it ranks with the other. Again, I don't know if people that are new to the platform or have just joined. My favorite Kendrick Lamar album is Section 80. Um, and the reason that is because the way he approached the album. I always liked artists earlier before they before they become who they are, right? What I'm saying? Every artist that comes out, today, has who they were in them. But I think Section 80 is before Kendrick Lamar becomes Kendrick Lamar. So it's a different way he's approaching the sounds, like Rigor Mortis and Ronald Reagan era and things
right,
like that. You know what I'm saying? Those records, even his voice, his vocals on it. You know what I'm saying? They sound a little bit different than what you get on Good Kid, Mad City. So my favorite project was always Section 80. I do appreciate Damn because I thought Damn kind of revisited some of those
right.
elements. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't a
That's
big
what a lot of people are making that comparison with this project and Damn. I don't have a problem with that. I hear, what they're hearing, musically, something that is leans, it has a balance between the vibe and the lyrics. He's not gonna just drill you down with just all bars and like, not that much music. It's a balance between a groove you could get into, a vibe, that a bop you could get it to, and the lyrics. So it's a healthy balance. So I see the comparison
Right. And
between.
I like the Luther joint on the album. The Luther joint was tight. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a Luther Vandross fan. I'm a big, soul samples. I like that. But it reminded me of Love on the damn album a little bit. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to, because somebody in the comments said that they didn't like the album. One of the critiques was they didn't think any of the records on this album was better than the disc records. Wasn't better than 616 in
Okay.
LA, Euphoria, Meet the Grams,
Okay.
you know,
Well,
not like us, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that was their critique. But I think this album was different. I think it's an extension of the battle, and again, it's the victory lap.
Yeah, well, I think that in those particular songs, it's like, you're taking your shot at Drake, you know what I mean? So those songs are a little bit more calculated, a little bit more depth in what he's saying because he's in battle. So this type of project was more so just like an overall where he's at right now. It may not be as meticulous lyrically as it is with him going at Drake. You know what I mean? So if people say the Drake songs, the Drake diss songs were a little bit better, I got no issue with that. You know what I mean? But over the as far as him not being outside and not dropping a lot of music, he put that argument to bed. He's given us a lot of music over this year. At least, we got an album out of it. I know some people said, they could go for another one, but he's cooking, he's working, and that's what people have been asking for. You know
No
what I mean?
doubt. Tater with the super chat says, objectively, still doing alien voices on album number 6 is thumbs down. Okay, that's
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Mad
That
Max with the super chat. Mad Max with the super chat says, what does he say? I'm sorry.
but doing alien voices sounded like Nas on Who Killed It. I hear you, Mad Max. I hear you, but that's a chamber, right? Delivery and in your voice, in your cadences, in how you deliver something. You mentioned the Nas song. All of that is a chamber, a delivery, and so that takes skill as well. You know what I mean? That's an art to that. You know. So, but I hear you though. I hear you, Mad Max. And like I said, some things are not for everybody. You know what I mean? If an artist makes a bunch of albums, I'm not gonna assume that you're gonna like every one. You know what I mean? So that's a lot to ask.
You
You
know
know what
what?
I'm
You know
saying?
what? You know what? We should interview. I'm not to change subjects. We should interview
No,
Rhapsody. We should interview Rhapsody. We should get her on here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm shooting my shot everywhere that I think that it can go, including albums this year that I think were some of the top albums. That's really who I'm looking at first. Albums that are set to come out also. Those are artists that I'm looking at. Again, you know the legends, it take a little bit of it's a little bit of a reach to get to the legends, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. But I'm going at everybody who contributes something of greatness to this culture, because why not? You know what I mean? And it gives a chance for the fans to hear it from some of their favorite artists. Rhapsody, I've been a huge Rhapsody fan for years, and that started basically because you know and when the blog era, kind of on the midway of the blog era up until right now, when Ninth Wonder started Jamla, Rhapsody was his first, like artist that held that flag. So I'm looking to see, okay, I wasn't up on Rhapsody back then, so I'm looking to see, well, how is she going to be able to uphold that label or that flag? And she just kept dropping material, kept dropping songs, kept dropping projects, kept dropping features, and over time, I started to respect her pen. You know what I mean? Like, no, so she's just continued that up till now, and I can appreciate that about her.
No, you HUR. I just
Yeah.
wanted to let you know we did interview Blue last week, so that's up on our page. So check out that out if you're interested in that Blue interview with Leroy last week.
No
We
doubt.
did do that, so that was a suggestion. We appreciate the suggestion. Hey man, did you see what Lil Wayne posted today on X. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. What's going on?
Well, the first song, the murals joint. I guess he took Weezy said a few things. He said, he grew up listening to Lil Wayne, the Carter Three, and
Yeah.
he said maybe hard work, hurt Weezy or whatever the case. His hard work hurt Weezy, whatever he
Uh,
said. Uh, so Lil Wayne said, "Man, what the f did I do? I be
yeah.
chilling. I be chilling. What do you say? I be chilling.
Are we froze right now?
Nah, I think we froze. Hold
Okay.
on, hold on.
There we go. But Wayne basically said, "I'll be chilling." Like, what's the smoke about?
Yeah,
Is
he said
that
what he said,
basically
what the
what
F
he
did
said?
I do? I just be chilling and they still come from my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction.
Oh,
Not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me, love.
okay. Yeah,
So
but I mean, we want the smoke though. Like, we do want the smoke with everybody. You know what I mean? It's like because that's the time that people want to be on. I don't mean the type of smoke that y'all think. That take it to the street smoke. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the lyrical smoke within hip hop, right? That's the smoke we do want, from what I've been hearing. So I think that the problem is, like I said a few weeks ago, that we don't have a metric for how to decide who is the better of the two. Now, I know a lot of people believe we have that metric. I don't believe we do. A lot of times when we have a battle, it's left up in the air, and then it comes down to emotions, or I think this person's better. Well, this person's more realer than the next person. But as far as the rhymes themselves, like this person lyrically cooked that person. We don't have a metric for that, or how to see who is the better of the two. Now I have my opinion, but if the fans could help me come up with a way that hip hop can battle and it not be looked at as so personal. Like we saw the battle between Drake and Kendrick turn very personal, right? So if there's a way we could battle without bringing in everybody's personal life, you know what I mean? And just battle like, bro, I think I'm better than you as an artist. We need to make that a thing. Now, how we go about making that a thing is the conflict. You know what I mean? People they still feel a way about Cole not jumping in this battle. I don't got a problem with that. But on the flip side of that though, if you're gonna battle somebody that you really don't have an issue with, how can I kill this person lyrically and make it to where okay, I won this battle, and then the fans are not, beating this man down for the next 20 years about how he lost this battle. Because that's what artists don't want to have to go through. I get into a battle, I lose the battle, and then for 10, 20 years, I got to hear about how I lost the battle every day. So
right.
that's what I think we need to get off that and kind of make it sport. We say it's a sport, but is it? Because if it's a sport, when somebody loses, it's no big deal. It's just a loss. Like that happens all the time in sports. Like, so, you lost, so what? You know what I mean? But we make it to where, oh, this person's career is done.
And that's
Oh,
part.
this
That's but that's part of the excitement, Leroy. That's what we
you know what I'm
we can
saying?
the source. Hot 97, V103 in
Right.
Atlanta, all these WBLS, all these radio stations, these hip hop magazines, and the blogs came, and then the social media came. We made it that way, and it's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the
Okay.
competition.
So the
Nas and
artists
Jay.
don't want to do it.
No, I'm just saying Nas and Jay came through it. Common and Ice Cube went through it. You know what I'm saying? Dre and Easy
So
was going at each other. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
I mean, that's why we see one hip hop battle a decade. You know what I'm
And that's
saying? So
okay.
it's like
I mean,
we go 10 years. There's 100. Listen to what I'm saying though. There's 100 rappers. We have one battle every
and
decade.
that's good. I mean, it's
That's
like
crazy.
that's like those big heavyweight fights. You ain't gonna have a big fight
Crazy.
every. I mean, it wouldn't be a special fight if it was like a big heavyweight match every year. Like when Floyd fought Oscar
I'm
De La
I'm not ever.
Hoya, when Floyd fought Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd fought Manny Pacquiao, you know, Pacquiao's at the back end of his career. We look up to those fights of Ali Frazier and
I'm from an era.
Ali Foreman. You know what I'm saying? It was those big fights, Tyson Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? It
I'm
don't
from an era you see a battle every time you go out. Like you see a battle everywhere there's hip hop. There you see a battle. That like
well,
I'm
not a
from that era.
big battle, but it was only
So
certain big battle.
every time you step out, it's a battle.
But it was
You know
only a
what I'm saying?
few. But when we were coming up, Leroy, there was only a few big battles, though. It wasn't like these
Why do
battles
they
were.
have to be big? Like why does a battle have to be big? A battle's supposed to be just everyday protocol. If you're a rapper, right? I've been around other rappers, right? Well, uh it's not out the norm for one of the people to say let's battle. Like that's a regular thing. Like so I would say okay, let's battle. Like go kick it since you wanted it, kick your bars. Then that used to be just regular. But now that it's so devastating to an artist's career, they're like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to make music, but y'all keep the battle."
Let me
That's
get to
really how they feel. That's how 99.9 rappers feel.
Let me get to the super chat real quick from Mad Max. Couple of them. Super chat from Mad Max saying, Lil Wayne responded weak, and I hate that. Well, you know, I thought, you know, he just responded in a tweet. We don't know if it's any music, but it's just a little response. Mad Max was super chat destroy what? Drake fought Pusher for you because of weak. This response is like Gushla Wayne can't battle, dot, he lose. You know what though? I will say this. And I think Wayne's a different animal than Drake. I think if you approach this battle with Weezy, you're gonna have to approach it a different way. Again, Wayne's a different animal. And I'm not saying who would win or
Okay.
who would lose, but I would tread carefully with Wayne. Wayne's a different beast.
Yeah.
That's all
I
I'll
I
say.
know, but we want that smoke, right? You know what I'm saying? And as far as like if Wayne was gonna come out and battle, I don't think it has to be such a big thing like, oh my God, it's a battle. Like that's supposed to be just hip hop. That's supposed to be something we see all the time. We only see that once every blue moon because the simple facts that battles are not sport anymore. Battles are personal now. Like I have to personally attack you as a person and regardless of whether people feel like that's true or not, you run back the battles in hip hop and you let me know if those battles were about sport or if those battles were about personal vendetta and vengeance versus the other person. And I'm saying that creates a situation to where we're going years and years and years without seeing no battles. And y'all like that? Y'all like going years without seeing battles in hip hop? I wish we saw a battle every month. For me personally, I wish we saw a battle all the time. Cause then it would be really fun. Like, whoa, kick your bars. Like then I'll go. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the way you think it has to go. When Royce to 5'9" and Mickey Fax went at it, right? The battle was about bars. That's it. It was strictly about, bro, you think you're dope? Bar up. Okay, I'm a bar up. That was it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it should be. Like that's how it should be in my view. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
That's where it come from.
People are asking about Wayne. Has he ever done a battle? And 50 came at him. I think he had a diss record for Gilly. Um,
Right.
he gave some smoke to Gilly. Pusha had a battle, but I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. Y'all check this out after the show,
Push
and
up.
you may think it was not really a battle, but it kind of this is kind of where Wayne will take it. He'll take it like this. And
Okay.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Um, it was
You're
called
just gonna put
yeah,
yeah.
because I
Go
I
ahead.
can't I don't want to get demonetized, but Family Feud with Drake. Listen to Wayne's verse. That's how surgical I think Lil Wayne will get if he does engage in this battle. I'm just being for real. Do your
That'll be
homework, people. Do your homework, people on Weezy. Listen to
yeah.
Family Feud. Listen to his verse. You know what I'm saying? And if it's
No
personal
doubt.
to him, he will be surgical with it, as he was with Birdman and Baby, aka Baby Birdman, Brian Williams. He will take it there. And again, if you doubt what I'm saying, listen to what I put in the chat, and it is what it is. So it
Right.
is what it
I mean,
is.
no doubt. Wayne is definitely well equipped for battle. So I don't know. And again, even with that, because Pusha T and Lil Wayne was supposed to battle, it didn't get there because both sides was like, well, nah, let's go to the streets. You know what I mean? Like, forget a battle. Let's go to street action. And that's why we didn't see a battle. And that's the cold part about the game. Like,
And
you know
again, and again, if y'all not hip to how Wayne is, then y'all just must be either young or not. If you're saying Wayne's not nice, then I just don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. And I'm not saying who would win the battle. I'm just saying Wayne's a different opponent than Drake. That's all I'm saying.
come
That's
on,
all I'm
man.
saying. And if you know hip hop, then you would agree with what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a Harvard hip
No,
hop
yeah.
scholar to
And Mad Max,
understand that.
no, that's not a lie. Like, that's not a lie. Wayne literally said, when Wayne and Pusha T had a little bit of smoke back in the day, Wayne literally said, like, I'm paraphrasing, right? But he was like, "Don't come at me with rhymes like let's go another route, like literally." So I don't know. It's no cap on that. What I'm saying, like, Wayne didn't want to go rhymes. He wanted to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna keep going as to where he said he wanted to go, but you get what I'm saying. It wasn't rhymes. He wasn't saying let's rhyme. That's not what he was saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's the problem. Like, we always want to go somewhere else instead of just being like, bro, get behind a microphone and do what you do for a living. Like, that's all it's
And,
got to
and-
be.
and-
Like,
and it's okay to like Kendrick Lamar, and it's okay to like new generations of MCs without dissing the legends. I think it's okay. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying let's not and we could critique Wayne's battle record. We could say, okay, he didn't go at Pusha T, and he wasn't like that against Pusha T.
right.
Him and Gilly. What kind of battle was that? Um, 50. 50 had what's that, part-time lover when he was dissing Wayne. You know what I'm saying? He
Mhm.
never really went at 50 like that. I think he was doing subliminal things at Jay for a little bit. But
Right.
I mean, we could address that record. And that's a fair assessment. But it's to say that Drake and Lil Wayne lyrically are in the same weight class, and if you can approach the beef and the battle the same way, I think you're mistaken, because I think there's a lot of different pockets that Wayne can pull from. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
That Drake couldn't pull from. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of organic sound. You can't say the Not Like Us angle against Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne's a product from Louisiana, New Orleans, right? You can't say he's not of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Whether good or
Right.
bad, Wayne influenced a generation of MCs. So again, um,
No doubt.
slow down,
I mean,
everybody.
Kendrick.
Slow down, everybody. Slow down,
Yeah,
everybody. I'm not saying who would
but,
win. I'm just saying it's
uh,
not the same way you can approach the battle. That's all I'm saying. Slow down. Slow down.
right. I mean, like we just saw, Kendrick is no slouch. Like we just saw. So if Wayne and Kendrick were to go at it, I'm sure we're gonna see some lyrical fireworks. You know what I'm saying?
And
'Cause,
again, and let me read what the man said, because I want to make sure this is not Ron saying this. This is not Leroy saying this. Is what Lil Wayne posted today.
yeah.
Actually, it was at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:08 a.m., November 23rd, 2024. Man, what the F did I do? I just be chilling, and they
Right.
still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant
Right.
sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me. Love, this man sounds like he's ready for whatever direction it may go. That's
That's
all.
cool. That's cool. I mean, all the rappers really have that in them. Like, not all of them, but what I mean is, like, in their talking points, they're like, look, I'll go at anybody and take them out. Like, because that's kind of like the energy you got to have, even just to create as much as you're creating and be who you are, because you are going to get challenged as a rapper just in general by other people that rap. I mean, if you're a rapper, you go to another city, they're gonna be like, bro, I rap too. What's up? Like that's just a normal thing. So rappers have it in them, but I'm just talking about if we don't see battles, if we're going a whole year now, we saw a big battle now, so we think this is regular. But if we go the next year, and we don't see no battles, I'm telling you why. Like I'm literally telling you why. These MCs always believe it's gonna go left because 99% of the times that's what we see. Do I mean someone physically gets hurt? No. But I mean lyrically it goes left. Like people start going into a whole other chamber. You know what I mean? With content. So that's why they're like, "Nah, I'm good," because these artists they do have brands. Like they do have brands, and I'm not saying put your brand before the culture or your brand before hip hop, but it's like before I stop making money to off my brand to sit there and focus on you, I'll get back to me getting to the paper. You know what I mean? Rather than to focus on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
that's how they feel. You know what I mean?
no doubt, no doubt. So again, let's go back to the album. I'm on my third listen to it. Super Duper hit me. Super Duper gonna join us probably in the end of the show. Um, talk about his thoughts on the album and also talk about the LL joint, not the LL joint, so the Cube joint at the tail end after we talk after we go through our process. But again, I thought it's a solid joint. What's your favorite song on the record right now, Leroy?
Um, favorite song in it. Well, that opening song. You know what I mean? Whack out the mirrors. I mean, come on now, come on. We know that that's a powerful record. I mean, it's just something about that when you first hear it, it just like stops you. You know what I mean? Stops your train of thought, and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? It's real. So, I mean, that would have to be my favorite. You know what I mean? But I'd really have to right now. That's my favorite. But I got to listen to it without multitasking and doing other things. You know what I mean? Both times I listened to it, I just had a lot of stuff going on. But the first song, I would say, that's what's up. You know what I
Bro,
mean? That's the one that stands out. The one with Pac, of course, is a close second. I mean, the reincarnation. That's a powerful song. You know what I mean?
I like TV off.
Powerful.
I think TV off is going to be a big record. I think that, we asked about what can he do at the Super Bowl. I think definitely you're going to you're going to do Squabble Up, and you're going to do TV off. I like Luther. I like Dodger Blue. Those records right there. I like Gloria. I like the last record on the album. Gloria was dope. Um, I don't know. I still think that he's got another album coming though. And I know, I'm just saying, I'm just looking at the moves, right? I still think there's some more work that may come, but I think right now we just need to digest what's out. And again, it's a victory lap.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he released it. I thought he might have put it out on Black Friday, but he came out a week ahead of time, But
Right.
while people are getting their turkeys and they chitlins and greens, whatever they eat for Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying? They ham hocks and whatever, turkey necks, whatever the case may be. Uh, you know.
I mean, I, I'm here for it, man. Now, really, we said we were going to talk about a few things, and we still are, man. But somebody just mentioned Jay, and and then Dame Dash, he been outside for a while. So I really was gonna. I may come back to it later, but this whole reasonable doubt thing and the shares about Rockefeller and what's going on, like somebody really needs to break that down for people that understand and people that feel like, well, if I work for an artist, then they owe me something. People have to really understand how that works. Who's who. First of all, who is important in that equation? Now, both people are important. Sorry, but who is the artist music of is most important, or are the people that work behind the desk most important? So we got to figure out what matters, right? Then we got to figure out the breakdown. Well, how does the money get made? What are the managers entitled to? How much do they get paid? What the shares of a record, how much do they make on that, or can estimate they can make on that? So it's like I just hear a lot of stuff that I don't think is accurate. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. I may come back. I may spin back to it. Sorry, Ron, for throwing that in there, but it's just one thing
No,
that was
no,
on my
no.
mind.
I always try to be hesitant to talk about that conversation. We'll take it back to Kendrick, but I really, because
Yeah.
there's so many things we don't know about the contracts, whatever. But we'll talk about that on another time. But
Okay.
man,
I mean,
I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about surprise albums, right? And I'm thinking about where this fits in the grand scheme of things, right? You know what I mean? I'm interested. I'm interested in another Kendrick Lamar interview. I know he did the Bizarre interview a few weeks back, but I'm interested in hearing his perspective on and yeah, we got a lot of spammers in here today, man. That's what's throwing me off. We got somebody that's
okay.
a Mad Max spammer. I
Yeah.
mean, this is wild, man. I guess I don't know what's going on. I think we got some bots and somebody trying to hate on our operation, but it's all good. Let me get them out of here
Yeah.
real quick.
No doubt. No doubt. The spammers, man. You know what I mean?
Let me get them
And
out of
and
here real quick. Let me get them out. You know what? While we wait for Ab to pull up, let's talk about the
yeah.
Ice Cube album. Let's talk about the Ice Cube album. Um,
There's,
Let me give you my thoughts on Ice Cube real quick. I personally like the album. Um, to
okay.
me, it sounds, if you want to have a category called adult contemporary hip hop, you would put this Ice Cube album in it. He's talking about a lot of different things that, as somebody that's in his 50s, who's an elder statesman, who's an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, hip hop legend, OG, um, is talking about. He's talking about how he's not like the rest of these MCs and not like the rest of these rappers. He has a
Right.
perspective that he's going to stand on. He doesn't understand why people are so sensitive. So a lot of these conversations that your uncle or your father might have, Cube is imparting this in his music. Even with some of
Mm-hmm.
the music choices, right? So you got Mount Westmore on a track. Let me pull up the track listed real quick. Um, I enjoy the projects, top to bottom. I know
Yeah.
the first half of the album is a little bit more stronger, but then you have it kind of tails off at the end. Let me pull up the track list so I can give an accurate account of
All right.
what I liked and what I didn't like. So the project's called Man Down. Rolling at Twilight starts the album. And then It's My Ego comes in. Okay, so sensitive, so sensitive. He's talking about cancel culture, conforming in the
That
world,
that
conform, and
that
it's the same.
sounds sensitive. That
But
sounds sensitive.
it's the same. It's the same well that Eminem tapped into.
No,
It did because
well, okay, okay,
Eminem was
okay.
talking about some of those themes on that project. His last
That's
one,
true.
the death of Slim
That's
Shady. So it's the same thing, but it's coming from a different perspective. So
yeah, but it's Ice Cube though. Like this is supposed to be a very serious person. But go ahead.
but he is, and I think we live in a serious time. And I think
Is it
what he's observing is that society is shifting in a way, and people are becoming more sensitive. That you can get canceled if you don't use the proper, call someone the proper name. I mean, this is what's happening. This is what's happening,
I
Leroy.
I hate it.
I know you don't
Hate it.
believe it's happening, but it's happening. It's happening
No,
now.
it's happening, but we used to be about like getting the business. That's what we used to be about is business. Now we talk about everything else that is like
Well, but
I mean,
Ice Cube's always been a cultural critic. That's one of his.
how does it matter about how does cancel culture matter to us in hip hop? Like, how does that matter to us? Like, we care about cancel culture in hip
Well, I
hop?
mean, some rappers got, for example, in this climate today, the things that DMX said on his records, you think DMX would be canceled today? You think DMX can make the records?
I, the
You think
Ice Cube I remember was so aggressive that it was no even room for sensitivity.
what
So
I'm saying?
now that we're sensitive,
But what I'm saying is what Ice Cube is saying. What I think his argument is in today's climate, are there people? Can an Ice Cube exist? Can you be aggressive? Can you say certain things like? And I don't even want to say them
like
because I don't want to get, because when I start cussing and
I
stuff, they strike us or whatever. So I can't even say what I want to say. But you
no,
know what I mean?
I,
Like
I'll
DMX.
say I'll say it. I mean, I won't say it, just vulgarly or something like that. But what I think is we have a bunch of issues on the table, and we always pick a light issue, like the lightest, softest issue to address. And I'm just like, where's your record dissing the president, Ice Cube?
Well, if he doesn't
Like,
want to make a
where?
record
Oh,
like
hold
that,
on, hold on, let it sit. Where is your record, Ice Cube, dissing the president in 2024? That's not where we're at. Explain it to me, Ice Cube. Where is your record dissing the president? Nipsey did it. Nipsey's not anywhere close to where you are. So explain, why are we talking about what we're talking about on this album? I'm sorry. And this is rough for me. Like, Ice Cube is arguably the greatest. Okay, just so we're all clear here. Ice Cube is arguably the greatest. So for me to have to say this, it's not easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where is your record going right at the power? Right at the power's throat. Where is that? Your Ice Cube. That is you what you do. That is what we're here for. Is you versus the top guy of the world, the country, going right at his throat.
but but Leo, I already said I believe that you can't tell an artist how they should be inspired. I think it'll be unfair to ask Ice Cube at this stage of his career how to
Okay.
put out his art. He may not be in that space. Still, he wants.
America's most
But I'm
death
saying he
certificate.
might not be
Kill
in that.
at will.
He might not at 56 years old. He might not be in that space, Leroy. He might
Clearly. I clearly.
and that's
Clear.
okay. That's okay.
No,
Like
it is okay.
it's okay.
It is
Like it's
okay.
certain things that Jay can't. Not to bring it to Jay. It's certain things that Jay can't rap about or won't rap about now because he's in a different stage of his life, and that's okay. I don't think we should dictate to artists how they should express themselves on the mic. I think that's,
Well, I know where Jay stands as far as politically.
and we know where
Now
Cube stands.
you would have to you would have I don't know where I don't know. I think Cube is very vague these days.
No, he's not. He
I
was
don't
on Roland. He was on. I think he was on Roland Martin's show. I think he was on Tucker Carlson. I think he was on.
The Ice Cube I know, right? That Ice Cube is still there. I don't care if you're 56 because the OGs I grew up with when they was 60, 70, 80, they was still aggressive. They
No
were
doubt.
still it doesn't matter. They even got more aggressive. It's just that they weren't physically aggressive. But in verbally aggressive, they were still very aggressive. So Ice Cube, that beast is still there. Now, if you don't want to if you want to chill. You deserve every right to chill. However, you can still articulate that beast that I know is still there.
No doubt. Let's put a pin in that because we got a special guest in the building today.
Mhm.
Fresh
We'll
off
put a pin in that,
Soul
man. I'm
Burger,
sorry, I'm hot, man.
West Coast extraordinaire MC, Ab Soul in the building. What's going on, brother?
Yo, yo.
Solo.
What's going on, brother? How you living tonight, man?
Oh, man, I'm living, man. How you doing?
No doubt, man. We doing good, man. Appreciate
Good.
you joining the show. I know you fresh off your new record, Soul Burger. And it's a real dope project. So Leroy Green, what's your first question to Ab real quick, brother?
No. Well, first of all, Absol, you know what I mean? Thank you for pulling up. I don't see you. We're kind of on a new platform. I hear you, but I don't see you.
Word, yeah. I'm sorry about that, man. I'm on the move right now, man. It's the best I can do.
No doubt, no doubt. We keep it audio.
Okay.
We keep it audio.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, again, I appreciate you coming through. You know, I met you earlier this year. It was fire. I kicked some bars for you, whatever. But in this there's a new project from your man. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So K Dot, he's talking about you on the Heart Part 6, right?
Hey, maybe go on mute until they answer the question.
Right.
Yeah.
What up? What up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, he went on mute. He can hear you.
Yeah.
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 So on the Heart Park 6, he's talking about you. He says his words legendary. I wishing I could rhyme like him. Study this style to define my pen. So Absol, what I want to ask you first is how does it feel to see your man at the place that he's at right now in hip hop, you know, Grammy nomination, Super Bowl. And then on this latest project, he mentions you as being a major influence to his style. You know what I mean? How does that make you feel,
Well,
buddy?
man, I mean, you gotta know, like, you know, we really brothers. So I mean,
Yeah.
the
Gang and
conversations
now.
we have often. So you know,
Yeah.
it's definitely an honor, you know, an honor and a privilege. But you gotta know, my
Yeah.
sentiments are the same. I probably learned the most. I
Oh
learned the
man,
most
you
from.
cutting up a little bit.
Right now, it's like, you know, like a spooks tricky here, but that's good.
Yeah.
As a recording
No, that
artist for sure. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
no doubt.
I want to
I,
make
I
that
can
very clear, but it's definitely an honor, though. You know what I mean?
for sure, for sure. I can you're cutting up a little bit. I want to get into Soul Burger with you, but we'll I mean I got another question. Hold on though. I was gonna ask you about you know, on your last album you worked with Premier, you know what I mean? And I heard that song, um the song you got with Primo and the song you got with Cole, man. Could you break either one of those down? How that came about, working with Primo and J Cole on Pie?
Okay, well, me and Cole are real tight.
Yeah,
You know, anyway, you know what I'm saying?
no doubt.
But the Primo joint, like, I've been meaning to work for a while, man. Just kind of like, kind of came together on divine timing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was fire. That was, you know, I'm a huge Primo guy.
Together sonically,
So
man. You know?
yeah,
So, you know, once
no
again,
doubt.
another honor and privilege. You feel what I'm saying?
Serious. And you killed that too. You killed that.
Man, appreciate
So
it. Appreciate it.
all right, so the Soul Burger now, and you know what I mean. And I know you're on the move right now. I appreciate that, man. But if you could get to a spot where we could see you just for a second, so that people know it's really Ab Soul that I'm talking to for real. You know what I'm saying? So, but you still dropping jewels, but we'd appreciate it. But on the album Soul Burger, it starts off with 9 Mile. This is about two things coming together as one. What made you come up with the belly intro and the 9 Mile battle scheme and put that on the same song with the soul to soul sample?
Um, well, it started with the soul to soul sample. Like I really just wanted it to feel like Belly coming in.
Yeah,
That happens. But as far as everything else, it just kind of happened. Especially like the 8 Mile reference, it just kind of happened. Once the drums came in, or that half of the beat, like before even the drum, we even originally it wasn't no there weren't even any drums.
yeah,
So as soon as the beat like changed into that other segment, it just kind of happened. I don't know. That's where God come in. I don't really know. You know. And
yeah.
since
No,
I
no,
made the Eminem reference, it was only right to build the shook ones around it.
right, right. No doubt. And just for the people, man, we plan to get y'all right, man. But like these artists, they be on the move, like for real, for real. So we gotta move and shake, you know how it goes. But I'm still gonna ask what I asked just to
Yo,
get it right.
let me ask you a question real quick. Let me ask you a question real quick. So you talked about I saw an interview which you did a couple weeks ago when the album just dropped, and you said you were kind of inspired by some of your favorite movies is Belly and also Forrest Gump. But also you talked about how other artists really don't be bumping you in they whips like that. What's some artists that you go to when you riding out, you know what I'm saying, and you trying to vibe out and get into a different mode? What artists do you listen to kind of tap into some different energy and that inspires you musically?
To be honest with you, bro, like I really don't even listen to music on my own anymore. You gotta
Right,
understand, like I grew up in music retail. I grew up in a family-owned record shop, like listening to music all day long.
right.
It turned out to be a studio rat. I gotta
Right.
like listen to music like with like my people. In my own time, I don't really listen to music like that. I kind of just watch movies, man. But like I do that also like because I kind of like want to in my own way like not have too much external influence.
Right.
So
Gang in there.
I can try to
Right,
stay as
right,
organic as possible.
right. I
So
want to, I want,
it's
I want to
like
touch, I want to touch.
something that I listen to like get into the mode or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. It's staying
Yeah.
on the on a cinematic vein. How was the what was the idea for the I Myself and Me video with Doechii? How did that come about? You know that video. I saw the video. Video was dope. How was that experience on that video?
Which video to all that?
No, the one that I Myself and Me. I Myself and Me joint.
Joint, yeah, with yeah, yeah, man. Like shout out to the homie Carlos, man. Uh, I was just one of them like real like artistic type of joints. Like I really didn't have to do much. That was more so like the camera crew and like, them capturing it that way. I had to vibe out, you know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of on my end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right.
For
Well, I
comment,
mean,
you know what I'm saying? It's just up to the artist on that one. You know.
I tell you, absolutely. Are you driving right now? Solo.
Actually, shooting. I'm about to shoot my next video, California Dream.
Oh, with Vince Staples.
Yeah, yeah.
Fire. Oh,
When that's gonna drop?
I'm a fan. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Huh?
but I tell you what, because you kind of cutting off. I would keep going, but I'm only hearing like a portion of your responses. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm sorry
So
about that, man. It was downtown LA.
yeah,
That's
no,
like,
no, Ab, you good with me, man. You let me rap. You know what I mean? I say let me kick some bars. You let me kick the bars. So you good in my book, man.
Hey yo,
church,
But
church.
let me ask you a couple quick questions
yeah,
before we get you out of here because I know you got the video shoot. So you say you on the movie tip. What's the
hold on, hold on. If there's any way I can get you back, maybe when you're chilling. How does a Wednesday look like it's a little bit better? We can see you and talk to you.
Oh yeah, that's possible. Just holler at my man Matt.
No, I got you. I got you. So I'm gonna let my man ask you one last question because I really want to ask you about Soul Burger when you're chilling. You know what I mean?
All right.
For sure. I appreciate
nah?
you. But go ahead, Ron.
Now we talked about the music thing real quick, and I know you say you're not on that type of time because you kind of insulated with that. So what's one of them? What apart from Forrest Gump and apart from Belly, what's another movie that you you like that you kind of go to kind of to vibe out? You know what I'm saying on a cinematic tip.
Maybe paid in full. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
paid in full.
Nah, that's no doubt. And I'm gonna hit you back. I'm gonna because this video that you got for California Dream coming. I know that's gonna be fire, my brother. So when I talk to you next time on a Wednesday, I'm gonna ask you about. I'll start at Bucko Jr. or Squeeze first, because the Squeeze first, that I'm a J head, man. When I heard that, I was feeling it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna begin there next time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
No doubt, man. We
Yo,
appreciate you
man.
tapping in with us, brother.
Yes. Have a good video, man.
No doubt, bro.
My guy. I'll talk to you soon. Say what up to Matt.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yo, so that was interesting. That was interesting, man. You know, artists be moving around, man. So um
Yeah. I
it
mean,
is what it is. It is
the
what it is, man.
yeah, I mean, and people are gonna say what they want to say, but they don't know all these things that
It's
the game
it's
entails.
yeah, it's kind of
They
like
don't.
television. It's television production. It's production. You guys don't know the ins and outs, and we do our
Well,
best. We do our best to bring you guys, you know, quality interviews. But sometimes artists be on the move, and he's an
Very,
artist that doesn't. He's an artist that's a free spirit. He moves how he moves. So it's hard to
yeah,
say, oh,
he's a
we're
free spirit.
at 6 o'clock, we're gonna have you with a cam and a B cam and a C cam. It doesn't work that way, guys.
Yeah,
So we'll get him back. We'll get him back on a Wednesday. It is what it
yeah.
is. We appreciate him tapping in, and we got a direct line, and we're gonna have other direct lines with people, and it's all good. So, last week, if you didn't see our interview with Blue, check that out. We'll pull up with Ab on Wednesday and
And
get that set
no,
up, and it's all good.
I mean, Absol is a very generous person. I salute him and his team. The reality is they are on the move. They let me know they would be on the move. Anyway, but they said, we'll still try to find a window to get it in. So I still tried to get it in, man. But I like that y'all are getting to see this. That y'all are getting to see a a grind, a climb, a someone like myself who is built to endure and go the long way with this. Who came up? I'm a student of Sway, Combat Jack, K Slay. So just like the times when y'all see me and I'm able to actually get the interview that y'all want and y'all want to see, sometimes you're gonna see me have to work for it too, and that's what I'm gonna show up to do. But not shout out to Absol even for just taking that call and answering them a few questions, because being on a video shoot of that magnitude where you got Vince Staples there, you got his team there, you got somebody representing TDE, his man Kendrick is doing what he got to do. I salute him even taking that time out, even just to answer a few of those questions. But Wednesday, I'm gonna try to get him to really pull up, and if not, you know what I mean, I'll work something else. You know what I mean? But
No, and,
we
and,
gonna
and
do
what we
this thing.
and
Hmm?
an alternative what we can do is we gotta make a West Coast run anyway. So we might just do because I like when y'all be talking. Y'all don't know y'all be talking to talk in this chat. Y'all don't even know who y'all talking to, man. You know what I mean? So we might pull
It's
up.
cool.
We no, let me
It's
finish.
cool.
Let me
I
finish.
need y'all.
Let me finish. We
Yeah.
might just pull up to LA and do it. You know what I'm saying? It's no problem. You know what I'm saying? We just try to give y'all, what I'm saying, some cool content. It's not a problem.
No,
We'll go out to LA. We'll go out to the Bay. We'll just do do an interview series. It's no problem. It's no problem.
I
All
know.
good.
I appreciate that, right? Because you know, I know a lot of artists. I know a lot of people in behind the music also that want to um do their thing, that want to do what according to hip hop is doing, what other platforms are doing. And sometimes they have a fear of doing that because they have a fear of things not working out, of how the people are going to come at them and stuff like that. So it's like I want them to see me specifically go through the ups and downs of this game and still take it to where I know I can take it to. And if that means, I gotta keep going at it, then that's what it means. So I appreciate that, just to show that I want people want to be fearless. I want y'all to be the ones that do catch inspiration. If some of y'all do, I want y'all to be fearless in your pursuit. Whether the camera's on, whether you're facing timing, scheduling, and stuff like that, and things may go on, I want y'all to be fearless and relentless in your pursuit of what we have to do to make this culture, to take this culture to another level or to restore it. You know what I mean? So that's what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm a,
It's interesting that he's shooting a video for what's that joint? He said he's shooting a video for California
for
Dream.
California Dream.
It's
Yeah,
one of my favorite records on Soulberg, actually. So
yeah.
interesting.
No, no doubt. I mean, we're talking. He's still on the text, but he's saying, it's just a lot. It's a pop up. They got stuff going on, so he doesn't mean no harm, man. But we're gonna try to do it again on Wednesday, man. So regardless of people always got something to say, but the person out there that knows what I'm saying, that is trying to achieve something of great significance, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I'm saying? So that's who I'm talking to.
Le-
Achieve those dreams and go after it. You know what I mean?
Leroy,
Because you going, you know,
Leroy, I got a surprise for you. I got Super Duper
yeah,
tapped in. You and I were on a chat earlier, right? And we had
yeah,
you're gonna be very surprised by this take that he has. So I want to
okay,
bring Super Duper in. We're gonna talk about Cube. We'll go back to that, and we'll talk about Kendrick. But you're gonna be really surprised with his take. And so super,
Yeah,
super. What's up, brother? Come in and what's going on, man? What's good with you, brother?
Hey, what's really good, fellas? Hey, I see we got a
yeah,
whole new network set up right now, man. I don't know if I could be
yeah.
seen. My front facing camera is messed up.
That's
Hey,
fine.
but
Okay.
That's
hey, no matter what, Leroy, shout out, respect. I respect the effort and salute
Yeah.
to you, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, good effort, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Great effort, great effort.
My guy, I got man, I'm trying to get so many people here, and the top in the list that I got that I'm trying to get here is incredible, man. If I pull this off, especially next year, y'all you gonna remember this. You know what I mean? So I'm trying, bro. But thank you though.
super.
Thank you.
You still hear us?
You definitely bringing your own flavor to the table, man. So you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I respect your opinion, even though we don't always agree. It ain't
That's
nothing
all
but
right.
love and respect, fam. You know what I'm saying? So
Same.
definitely salute.
Same,
Um,
brother.
all right, topics of the day, man. I wish I could have cooked with y'all a couple of days ago, but you know, since we here right now, man, let me pour my 2 cents into the court and hip hop atmosphere. I was ready to bury to Kendrick Lamar. I was ready to bury him. I ain't gonna lie. When I first heard the album, I was let down. It wasn't what I was expecting from the beginning. But as the time then gone by, and as the day that went past, and I'm over my initial disappointment of the album, because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like the album is super fire. But at the same time, man, I mean, it's growing on me. It's not as weak as I was initially gonna set off. You know what I'm saying? If I could have got on while we was on live the other day, I was gonna
Yeah.
blaze this album. I was gonna go ham. But as the
Right?
time that went by, and I done let the dust settle, and I done got, you know, let it settle in. And like I said, I am initially disappointed. So don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, y'all. I'm disappointed. Initially, I thought it would be initially better than what I thought it would be. But
Yeah.
as I realized, as I listened to the album over the last day and a half, it's not as bad as I initially thought. And I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm gonna give him some bail, man.
Okay.
I'm not trying to jump on the
Hey.
I'm not on the bandwagon, but I'm
Right.
not on the hate wagon either. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as bad. At least the first 6 songs it's all right. I will say this:
Mm.
I don't think that it's horrible. I don't think that it's great, but I will say that I don't think that there's no skips on it either. So like, however we want to look at it, it's not as great as we probably initially thought, but it's definitely not as bad as I wanted to say it was.
I
And
respect.
I'm
We on
I'm
the
still
same
I'm gonna
page.
hold back I'm gonna hold back my opinion totally before I can rate it. But I'm not gonna say that I hate it. I'm not gonna say that I love it. But I will say that it's not as bad as I initially thought. That's my initial reaction to
I
the
mean,
Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, I had to go back to it. So we're similar on the opinion that when I first heard it, it was one thing, and I went back, listened again, and I started to like it a little bit more. So in that regard, I understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
What was your
For sure.
thoughts? What was your thoughts, Super, on the resurrection joint? How did you feel about the resurrection joint?
I mean, I listen. I'll say this. I don't think that Kendrick should have played the Tupac game. I, I I don't think it was a good look to match his verse or his song up against a Tupac song over the same beat because it I think it does something to like our vintage souls and our hip hop head crowns. You know what I'm saying? So it does something for me to hear Kendrick rap over a Tupac beat. And for me, I'm just gonna be honest. I like the song. Kendrick's is not bad, but it just don't compare to the Tupac song. And so, like, I think that
Well, yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it's a good song. It's not bad. It's not horrible. But for the comparison factor, it does Kendrick Lamar no favors for him to be matched up to a song that Tupac did verse for verse, especially in this atmosphere where we got like publishers or magazine articles or people trying to put Kendrick over a Tupac over a Nas. Um,
Yeah, but
I don't
I
want to
mean,
start
to
the
be
comparison.
fair,
I don't want to start the comparison talk because I think it's not fair to Kendrick. The album is too new, and I think that we deserve to like let it rest on us and like give it some time before we say that
I mean,
is this album better than
yeah,
Machiavelli, or is this album better than that? I don't want to do the album like that right now. But
I don't
by
think there's
him
any way that
by him rapping over that Tupac beat, it kind of makes you do that as like the OGs of the game and like the people that's judging this music based on whether it's a
yeah,
classic or not. It puts you in that frame of mind, and I think that it doesn't do
I give
Kendrick
up.
any favors by doing that.
I give up on any pot conversation. I gotta give up because I don't think it's rational anymore. Like I was commenting today with some people. They was talking about Pac, and they make fame arguments. Well, Pac was so popular around the world, and I say, okay, well, if he gets a point for being popular, then every popular rapper should get a point. Well, he made impact, and I said, well, if he gets a point for impact, then every rapper should get a point for impact. But it's like they give, and Pac deserves these points, but the reason why it's uncomparable is because only he can get points for things, but nobody
No,
else
no,
can.
Leroy. I think your
No,
Tupac
when I say
argument. I think
people
Leroy,
be
Leroy.
talking
I
about
think
LL.
I think
Hold
your
on,
Tupac your Tupac
hold on,
argument is
hold
flawed in
on,
a way.
hold on,
It's a
hold
little
on.
flawed though, Leroy.
People always talk. People been talking about Tupac since the '90s. I say, okay, people talked about Ice Cube since the '90s. Well, that don't matter. I will. Well, Tupac, he's famous in other countries. I say, well, Snoop Dogg, Drake, LL Cool J, Kanye West, they're all famous in other countries. Well, that don't matter. It's like
Nah, man.
only he
Like I
can get
said, Leroy,
points.
your Tupac arguments is flawed a little bit. And like I said,
What's the
I don't
flaw
want
there?
to.
What's the flaw?
Your flaw is because you try to like downplay the love that Tupac really
Where's the
get, and
downplay?
you no the
Where's the
downplay is that
downplay?
the downplay is even being able to try to even compare these, like trying to compare what you're trying to
Okay,
compare is
so
the
so we
downplay.
gotta stop.
But
So we gotta
I'm not,
stop
I don't
having
want to
Pac
do this.
arguments because
Let's
we're
just
not
listen.
people.
We
We're
can
not.
do this on
Come
let's
on,
do this on a
mature
Wednesday.
enough. Hip hop is not mature enough to have a Pac conversation. And so we can't
Leroy,
have it.
Let me ask a
Leroy.
We're not there. We're
let me
not there.
let me moderate. Leroy, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask both y'all questions.
We're
I
not
think
there.
this is a very
It's
interesting
only
conversation.
Pac can get points, and nobody
I
else can
think
get points.
that is foolish.
Let me ask a question real quick. I want to ask a question.
This wrong, man. This ain't even
Hold
right.
on. Let me ask you a question. So, Leroy, if I want to repeat what you're saying back, so I want to make sure I understand it. Right? You're
Go
saying
ahead.
that the Tupac conversation has gone to a place where people don't are just edifying Pac and they're not, constructively critiquing him, and then no one else post Pac can live up to that standard, and you don't think that's right. Is that what you're saying?
There were people that were even been here before Pac. But it's like people will say, well, this is why Pac is this. And I will say, okay, this rapper also check that box.
I don't want to hear
Hold
Leroy talk
on.
about this
Hold
because
on. Hold
Leroy,
on.
no man, listen,
Hold
man,
on.
Leroy, you won't even do this
Because
when
you
it
keep
come down to
cutting, and
Jay
you do
Z
this
for real.
every time.
Like
You do this every time.
you're
You
not
do
really
this.
very fair, and that's why
I
I don't
am
want to
being
start this.
fair.
I
Listen,
don't want to argue
I
with you
don't.
tonight about this because you're not
It's not
truly
an
fair because
argument.
you only do
No
this when it come
argument.
down to people that you really
When you
just
cut me
don't.
off, it's not an
You
argument.
just not
When you
loving
cut me
like
off,
that.
it's not an
Let,
You
let,
argument.
don't
let,
love
let,
When
Tupac
you
like
cut
that.
me off a show that I co-host, when you cut me off a show that I co-host on, it's not an argument because I'm not able to finish. You know what I mean? But
Leroy,
when
man,
but
listen, man.
you
I
him
don't even want to
finish.
have
when
this argument with you
when
because it's you not qualified. Like I
guys,
said, you
who's
truly
whoa whoa
not
whoa whoa whoa
qualified to
whoa
have
whoa
a
whoa
you not
whoa
qualified to have a
who
true Tupac
disqualified me?
conversation. Just
Who
like you not
disqualified me in
qualified to
this
have
scenario?
a true Jay Z
Who
conversation. You
disqualified
really
me
not.
in
Let's
You
this
take
not
a timeout.
qualified to have these
the people
conversations.
that raised Pac, the people that raised Pac are people that I personally were around in the Bay Area.
Man,
Who can
I
ever
listen. That
qualify me?
all that can be said and done and fine and dandy, Leroy. But like I said,
Who can
you don't
qualify
judge
me? You?
Tupac on the same standards that you judge Jay Z on. Is what I'm
I
saying.
didn't even
And so,
mention
like,
Jay
it's
Z,
not.
but people will make popularity arguments. People will
I'm
make
fair enough
popularity arguments.
to realize that about you, and that's why I don't really judge you like that, and I
Realize
don't go
about
too
what?
hard
I
on you
didn't
like
finish
that
my
because
statement.
I don't think that
Realize about
you
what?
don't judge it fair. You don't judge it fair.
Again, Only Pac is allowed to make points. Nobody else is. That's the problem. That's the
I'm
problem.
not even saying nothing. Neither. I'm not even talking about which
Only
side
Pac
that
is
I'm even.
allowed to make
I'm not even
points.
speaking on which side that I'm on. I'm just saying that
On,
you, period, are not qualified to even talk about this
who can
properly
qualify
because
me?
the same things
Who
that you
can
saying
qualify?
about Tupac right now, you won't say that about Jay-Z. And so, like, you're not
I
qualified.
would
I'm
say
not even willing
Jay-Z.
to have this conversation about it really with you because I think that it's just
First
going to
of
be an
Hey,
all, look,
hey,
argument.
hey, hey,
hold
time
on,
out.
hold on, hold on,
Go ahead,
hold
Leroy.
on. First of all, can't nobody qualify me in this game. Trust me. Trust
Now,
me on that. Now,
I'm
the few that
unqualifying you.
can, the,
No, listen, man.
the few
I'm
that can,
unqualifying you, and I definitely believe that
who,
half of the chat is disqualifying you. They don't even want to hear it because
who,
you're not
who
willing
can
to
what did you
you're not willing
disqualify?
to judge Tupac on the same way that you're
What
willing
did
to
you
judge Jay-Z. You're
disqualify?
not willing to do that.
Hey, let's take
You're
a
not
time
willing to
out.
do that
What
for
did
real.
you
Let's take a
hold
time
on?
out.
And the next time, and look, man. All this
You're not
cutting me
willing to
off
do
that
it. You're not
people
willing to
do,
be fair about this.
all this cutting me off so I can't finish my statement. So while people are arguing with half statements, that's not gangster.
Leroy, you
And
the
it's
number
like
one cut
that's
offer
not
on the
gangster. That's
podcast.
not gangster. Again, if somebody mentions a Pac argument, they'll say, "Well, Pac did this, that, and this." I'll say this person over here also did this. That they'll say, well, Pac made huge impact. I will say, well, Cube made huge impact. People will say, well, Pac had classic albums. I'll say Cube had classic albums. Well, Pac was in movies. Cube was also in movies. And there's a list of artists I could run down from LL Cool J to
Yeah, but what you won't
taking me
what
out.
you don't
But what
realize
they
is that
did doesn't
you
matter.
don't want to
But
separate
what
the
they
levels
did
of
never
this.
matters. What they only Tupac can get points for impact, but LL Cool J can't get points for impact.
Nah, that's not what we saying, man. That's not
That
what we
is what
saying.
you're saying.
We saying that
That is what you're saying.
you like to downgrade Tupac's impact and
Where?
try to make
Where
it
was the
seem like
downgrade?
this is the downgrade. But you trying to downgrade Tupac's impact and try to compare it to Ice Cube's. And we all know that
Where?
Ice Cube is great. Ice Cube is a legend.
Do y'all
But to
know
even
Ice
like
Cube's
compare,
resume?
no man,
Do
listen,
y'all
Leroy,
know Ice Cube's resume?
listen. We all know that Ice Cube is a legend, but his legend is
No.
not as legendary as a Tupac's. We all
Do
know
y'all
that.
know where?
We
Where is
all
Ice
know
Cube
this
not a
already,
legend?
man. Like
Where?
this is the argument for you to have by yourself or on a separate day.
Where is Ice Cube
I'm not
not a
willing to
legend?
argue with you about that today.
I'm
Because
trying to
you
get some
can't. You can't.
understanding. I'm trying to get some understanding because I'm trying to
Where
understand how
is
we got
Ice
to this
Cube not a
point.
legend?
Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm trying to understand how we got to this conversation. We talked about the resurrection record, and then I think Leroy, what was your statement after I brought up the resurrection record? I just want to make sure. I want to break down each
My
without.
statement is this: whenever Pac is mentioned, no one can ever be mentioned in the same conversation with him, because we have a block in hip
I
hop
don't think
to
nobody's
where
saying that.
Let him
no
finish. I
one
want to
can
understand this
ever
real
be
quick.
mentioned. No one can ever be mentioned in the same sentence with Pac.
No, let
And
me ask you. Let me
so
ask you a question, Leroy.
even if a person has proven, Kendrick has been out here 15 years, proving and proving and proving and proving and
And
proving and
nothing that
proving.
he's done has
Never,
touched Tupac. But like, can we
but
can
it,
all? I think that like
Pac,
only you
Pac
is
was in
willing
the
to
era of
argue
physical
about
copy.
that type of point. I don't think that,
Pac was
like
in
I
the
said,
era of Pac
for
was
me
a
to be
movie
fair,
star. Pac was a
to
bigger.
Kendrick Lamar, I can't compare him to Tupac. So I
It's
don't
not.
even bring up Tupac. I think it's disrespectful to even say Tupac and Kendrick Lamar in the same name. You, on the
But
other hand,
even
you
to
think
make
that
my
it's
point,
fair game. And that's
it's
where I think that our
disrespectful
argument
to
is flawed.
even
To me,
mention
is there's no
someone.
argument, there's no talking point when it comes
Let,
down
let,
to
let,
Tupac and
let me
Kendrick
ask
Do
Lamar.
you.
y'all know what Drake's numbers would look like if Drake showed you his numbers of impact in the world? Do y'all know how crazy those numbers would look? And y'all would still be like, "Well, that's not comparable to what Pac did."
Man, I think you still missing the point.
Do you know how? Do you know how many Pac? If you take all of Pac's impact, how many Pacs it would take? And we're not talking about emotions. We're talking about just the numbers
I
themselves.
don't even know why. Hey, Ron, you right, man. I don't know why we talking about Tupac because I didn't
Again,
call in to talk about
the
Tupac or
notion
even to compare
that is
Tupac and Kendrick Lamar.
disrespectful, the notion that is
That's not my point of even
disrespectful
talking and calling
to
in here
mention
tonight.
another name. No one disrespects Pac. That like the notion that even me making a sentence with someone else disrespects Pac. That is emotional. That's no diss. I'm not downgrading. I called Pac brilliant. People said that was a problem. I called him a genius. People said that was a problem. I called him a legend. People said that was a problem. I said he was a supreme lyricist. People said that was a problem. Well, everything I'm saying about the man seems to be a problem when they're all good things I'm saying about him. Help me make it make sense.
So I think where we got off base here, I don't think the reason why we brought up Pac and Kendrick was because the Resurrection record on GNX. That was the reason why
Exactly.
this whole conversation. Me personally, I didn't. It's not one of my favorite records on the album. I didn't personally when I first heard it. And maybe, and you naturally compare. You compare the original to the reincarnation, and the resurrected version of it. I didn't particularly care for this new version of it, and that's
And
okay.
that was originally my point, Ron. That was my point
And I
from
think
the
it's
beginning.
okay.
That
And I think it's
yeah,
okay. I think for the newer, like my daughter's 21 years old. She didn't grow up on, or she grew up on Pac because she was around me. And it's okay that she might hold Kendrick Lamar in a higher regard. But it's also okay for people that grew up on Pac to say, you know what? I can understand why this is not my cup of tea. It's okay. Both worlds can exist, and I think that's what I'm the argument I'm trying to make. That it's okay that we can say, okay, that's not Pac, and it's okay for somebody to say that. It's okay for somebody. Leroy, you have a different
I'm not
perspective. You on
saying
the
what
West Coast. You on the West Coast, and you've been around both eras of the Pac era and the K dot and both waves. You have a different perspective of it because you're out west. But for other people that are not out there like that, it's okay for them to say, okay,
I'm
this is
I'm
not
not
really my
saying
cup of
what
tea.
of course it's okay. Like you could say whatever you want. But yes, I was around when Pac was alive and was out here. And when Pac was alive, there was people like, yeah, I mess with Pac. There was people like I mess with Cube. There was people I mess with Scarface. I mess with Snoop Dogg. I mess with LL. I mess with KRS-One. It was not this thing of where other people are just not even in the same conversation. That wasn't the case. So now that it's not in the conversation, I gotta say the Pac, and it's always been. I've always felt like this because whenever Pac or Big, but mostly Pac, whenever Pac is mentioned, no one else matters, and it's like,
and
and,
my
and
point
I'm
to
done
you
with
is
that.
that when it come down to Jay-Z, don't nobody else matter either. And that's what I'm saying.
No,
Like
no,
I'm
LL
not
is
even
still a legend.
I'm really not even
Even
speaking as like
I
some type
agree
of
that he's
super
still a legend.
Tupac fan either. Even though Tupac is my GOAT. Even though Tupac is my GOAT. And I got Nas second. But I
I
still
think
don't
y'all would
never
be
speak.
surprised.
Listen, hold on, Leroy. Listen, I still don't let my bias
You're
about
biased.
them because I'm definitely Tupac and Nas biased. I'm Prodigy
What?
biased. I'm Mob
I'm not.
Deep and Wu Tang biased when it come down to it. But I don't let my bias towards them influence me. I don't let my liking of Nas knock
What like it?
Jay-Z. I
I
don't
don't know
I don't
what
I don't
diss. I
every
don't know
time
what
Nas
diss
every
y'all
time
saw.
Jay-Z come up I don't bring up Nas. Every
I
time
don't know
Nas
what
come up
diss
I
y'all
don't
saw.
bring up Jay-Z. Every time what
Apparently, I
every
dissed
time
Tupac.
every
Apparently, I
time
dissed
Wu-Tang
Tupac.
come up I don't
I
bring
don't
up
know what diss
Wu-Tang
y'all saw.
or Outkast. I
What I'm
let them
saying
live.
is,
I'm judging them period. I'm just judging them straight up on what they're doing at the present time. So this goes
what I'm
back like I
saying
said to
is,
what I was saying about Kendrick. What I'm saying about Kendrick with the Tupac song and even with the one mic, I don't want to say reference track or whatever you want to call it, but I think that anybody that know, we all can see and hear that he's referencing to one mic. This is a one mic style song. It's it's cool that he did it and it's fine, but is it better than Nas one mic? Is what he did better than? And like I said, tonight wasn't the night for even me to bring this up, but since we going here, we going here. So like this is my knock when if I'm gonna judge it properly, I gotta judge Kendrick versus Nas. I gotta judge Kendrick versus Tupac. I gotta judge these songs, how they rapped over the beat, the song concepts. I gotta judge this, and I gotta be able to say what I'm saying without it being judged as hate or a knock or something like that, because he's
well,
making us
super,
he making us think about it. You know what I'm
super.
saying? Like if he
Kendrick
didn't make
came
me
in an
think about
era.
Tupac, if he didn't make me think about Nas, it wouldn't even be nothing to talk about.
Kendrick came in an era where you heard 1,000 rap albums. When you first heard Pac, you probably heard less than 50 rap albums. So your ear now is completely different. Kendrick has to compete with a machine. Kendrick has to beat an internet. Every
No,
time he
Kendrick,
gets on the
Kendrick,
mic,
Kendrick
he
just has
has
to compete with
he
new,
has to
fresher
beat the internet.
ideas. He don't have to compete with a machine, man. That's what I'm saying. Like I think that we talk about this is flawed. What they have to compete with is fresher, newer ideas. They don't have to repeat anything. They just got to be fresh
Kendrick
and
got to
new
beat.
and original. That's it.
Kendrick got to beat hundreds
I
of
don't
battles.
think that's. I think that what's the problem with the way we judge rap is that we willing to water down um that no ideal is original or that nothing new is under the sun. But there's ways to create a new way of doing things. But like I said, man, I think we getting off the point, and I think this is a whole conversation for another day. So I just want to keep it positive on the Kendrick Lamar. I don't want to compare Kendrick to Drake, to Nas, to nobody. Let them live. Let's live in the moment right now. The album itself, it's not as bad as I was initially saying that I thought it was when I first listened to it, and I'm glad personally that I wasn't on the podcast to say what I initially thought when I first listened to it on my first and second times. But now, on my fifth and sixth time listening to the album, it's not as bad as I wanted to say, and I appreciate the album. It's good enough. It's not what I wanted it to be, but it's fine. And the rest of this argument, let's have it a whole nother day, Leroy, because we ain't getting nowhere.
Before Ab Soul
It's
jump
no
on,
conversation because it's not even a conversation because first I'd have to be able to finish, but second, I don't think we'll ever get to a point to where somebody is gonna match our first experience in the 90s. That's our hip hop first experience. We were all like 10, 11, 12 years old. I don't think nobody is going to come out in 2024 and match that energy of the first time when we heard Illmatic, the first time we heard All Eyes on Me. I don't think
I, and,
that's not even possible.
And
But
I
but
think,
we're
and
the
I think that for you, Leroy, I think for you to say that is a cop out, and
okay.
it's just like it's a way, it's you watering down or having lower expectations.
You
I
cut.
don't have to lower my expectations because yours is lower. I just think I
People
think
say
that you
people
lowering
say
your
I lower the
expectations
bar.
and you thinking that it can't be better.
People say
I,
I
I
lower
no
the bar
listen,
when I
listen.
bring up
I think that
lyrics.
you telling me but listen, Leroy, listen. You telling me to lower
Leroy.
my bar. You telling me not to expect better than Illmatic. You telling me not to expect Enter the Woo. And I'm telling you that I'm still reserving the right to feel like something can be better. So I'm not
Anybody
living in the past. I'm not living in the past. I might judge things on the standards of the past in a way, but I don't think that things can't be better. I think
anybody
that the
who wants to
children are the
talk
future,
about a
man.
standard of bars.
I'm one of the people that think positive about the hip hop game.
Anybody
I don't like to like just downgrade everybody, but I
anybody
do
that
like
wants
to
to talk
judge
about a
fairly. I don't
standard
like to
of
gas everything either.
if we're going to talk about a standard of bars, I could get you the guys that will raise the standard of bars. If anybody's questioning where my standards lie with bars, I can bring you the guys that are totally on another level. And even them, I've mentioned Lupe Fiasco. People say I'm lowering the bar. That's crazy. But if y'all want to go bar wise, if y'all want to go music wise, we can bring in the musicians and the bars and show you where the standard should be at. But even then, people will have an argument. People will have an argument, and it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous, man. I'm not
But
lowering the bar.
I didn't come in
My
with no
bar is
argument.
somewhere.
I never
If
came in with an
turn the
argument
beat
to
on,
have.
turn the beat on, and I'll show y'all where my standard is. Turn the beat on. But where I'm at and where I'm talking about, people aren't willing to go that far. People are not willing to go that far, lyrically or musically. Trust me. So we gotta stop, man. Turn
yeah,
the beat on.
I think again, as I said earlier, and Leroy, I didn't even get to my earlier point. Ab Soul jumped on the conversation. You made a point. We were talking about the Ice Cube album. I want to get into that. I didn't get a chance to talk about your critique on Ice Cube album because I vehemently disagree with your take that you made about.
That got me hot. That got me. Ice Cube again. Where is your record going that the
And that's what
government?
I want, and that's what I'm going back to that. Maybe he's not in that space though, Leroy. But
You, Ice Cube, you are not in that space. Now, if you're not, I'm gonna respect it because you have earned the right to have that respect, Ice Cube. But again, still, Ice Cube, you wanting to chill when you are who you are to this culture. Even again, I respect it. But these records that you're throwing out that are not nice and fun and everybody get along, or let me just talk about like something that really is not even an issue in our community. Ice Cube, do you know that you made America's Most? You made Lethal Injection. You made Predator. You made Death Certificate. You made Kill at Will. You made the NWA. You wrote for that. You made Laugh Now, Cry Later, Raw Footage, War and Peace. Do you know who we are expecting to hear when we talk about Ice Cube? When we talk about somebody who was poetic, who was a gangster, who had messages, who was conscious, who was political, all in the same person and made extreme impact. We are talking about Ice Cube. That is the
Man,
architect. That's
Leroy,
Let,
the
I mean,
let, 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 let
I
me
totally,
respond to
I
this real
feel.
quick. Let me respond to this real quick, Super Duper, before you go. I wasn't expecting that from Ice Cube though, Leroy. I wasn't expecting that. I'm because I think he's in a different stage of his life. I can't expect just like I don't expect Jay-Z to rap the way he did on the Blueprint 2 era. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not expecting Ice Cube to be
all right.
that in 2024. I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? That's just me.
I respect Ice
And
Cube.
I think that as an artist, you know, Ice Cube been there and done that. I mean, like if we want to keep it real, I mean, all from all of us of a certain age, 40 and above, I think that we all can agree that Ice Cube taught us a bunch of shit about being black men in society and about whatever. He did enough. He did his job. He don't got to continue to fight. It's for other people to do that. So if you're gonna be mad at Ice Cube for not doing what you think that he should continue on doing or continue on doing what he was doing on America's Most, then you should be more mad at Kendrick for not having no real message with this album. If we're gonna do this, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to throw Kendrick under the bus, but what I'm saying is that if we're gonna hold Ice Cube to some type of standard that he need to keep this fight going on forever,
No,
who is he
have
passing
fun.
the torch down to? You know what I'm saying?
Have
Like,
fun, but at least
I
one
think that
song, at least one, because you made a record called "It's Sensitive," but you didn't make nothing that was. There's nothing you're talking about. People being sensitive. Well, give me the hardcore then. If you make a
I mean,
record called "Y'all So
but Leroy,
Sensitive,"
don't
give
you
me the
think that Ice
hardcore.
Cube is actually and don't you think that Ice Cube is actually living this shit though? Like he didn't got the platinum plan and he spoke on that. He's still doing his podcast speaking on real issues. And then the music is just the
Good.
music. I mean, we can't do
Let
them
me
like
be
that. Like I
let
mean,
me be very
I think
clear.
it's
Ice
unfair.
Cube
I think
made
it's
me.
unfair for you to say that about Ice Cube when in his real life he doing what he's supposed to do.
We respect that. Ice Cube is one of, or arguably the greatest of. So we can take nothing from Ice Cube. We respect what he's done. We respect where he's at. Yes, he continues that good fight. I respect the contract for Black America. I respect the leadership role that you are taking. I respect your entrepreneurial spirit and your leading, being a leader in this culture. And that's why your voice is so powerful, Cube. That's why your voice is so
Man, like I
powerful.
said, Leroy, like I said, I
If
love you,
you
man.
would
I
just
respect
not
your
have
opinion,
come,
fam. But you do this, you saying this, all this about Ice Cube, but like
uh,
this is when we was
that is
trying to hold Jay
in
Z feet
this
to the
era,
fire about
in
this
this
same thing.
era,
When
in
we was
this
talking about
era,
Jay Z about
that's
these
so
same actions
crazy.
that you trying to
In
hold
this
Ice Cube
era,
to the fire about something that Jay Z never did.
no, no. If Jay
Like
Z makes a record, if
Jay-Z
Jay
never
Z makes
did
a record,
anything that what you talking about. And
Jay
this is what
Z,
I'm saying that sometimes
if
like
Jay
you're not
Z make a
qualified to
record,
talk
and it's
about certain
all
things, fam.
if Jay Z makes a
You just not
record,
qualified to
you
you can't like we can't
hold on,
take you
hold on, hold
serious
on, hold
sometimes
on, hold
because
on, hold on,
you want to
Cube,
hold Ice
hold on.
Cube to this super standard that you're not even willing to hold Jay-Z to at all. You're not even willing to say this about Jay-Z really. And
Everybody
that's what I'm
listen
really
to the
saying.
record.
That's why I'm saying like
Everybody,
I can't take you serious when we
everybody
talking
listen to
about
the.
this.
First of all, Super. I hear you. I respect what you're saying. We just met each other a little bit a while ago. Trust me. If I say I respect what you're saying, then I respect it. But whoever can qualify me to speak, I need to know who that person is. That's one. Second, or disqualify me
I'm saying that dog,
from position.
you gotta
Where
hold
I'm
your
from,
same if Jay-Z is
I'm
your
from a
GOAT,
real place.
if
I'm
Jay-Z is your
it,
GOAT,
excuse
you
me,
gotta hold him to these same
excuse me,
standards that you try to
excuse
hold an
me,
Ice Cube to
Let,
or
let,
excuse
Kendrick
me,
Lamar to.
let him
excuse
finish,
That's
me,
Super.
all I'm really
Let,
saying.
let him finish, Super. Let him
excuse me.
finish.
Everybody listen to the album. Now, picture that's a Jay-Z album. Now picture me not having this same energy if it was Jay-Z. Ask yourself, if you heard this type of music coming from Jay-Z, do you think that I would say, "Oh yeah, that's great." Coming from who I'm coming from Jay-Z. Do you think if I heard these same songs coming from Hove, you think I wouldn't give this same fire? Y'all don't know me that well. Y'all don't know me that well because we're talking about Ice Cube. I respect that, but if everyone's gonna be cool with this, and it's not horrible. The song with Exhibit, fire. The song with Mount Westmore, fire. The song it's not a horrible album, but apparently y'all forgot the kind of Ice Cube that I'm talking about. And again, if people don't want to go back there, I get it. But in this climate, do you know how serious the streets are right now? And for you or anybody, not just Ice Cube. I don't want to make this just an Ice Cube thing, even though we're talking about this album. When I hear these party records and everything's so good, have y'all been outside? Have y'all been in these streets? Is it really as good as y'all music is making it be?
Man, that's what we talk about when it
Mike,
come down to Jay-Z whole
Mike,
discography for real.
Mike, what up, Mike?
I
Mike,
think you
Like,
need
Mike,
to listen
Mike, D,
again.
Mike D's in the building. What's good,
Yo,
brother?
what's good, man? Great exchange, fair exchange here. Shout out to Super, shout out to Leroy, shout out to you, Ron. Shout
Yes,
out to the
sir.
what's
people in the
good?
chat. Yeah, man. I mean, I think the Super has a point, man. Like you gotta hold everybody to that standard.
I'm not talking about
I think.
everybody.
Well, all right, we'll talk about Jay-Z.
No,
Let's
I
just
was
cut through
talking
the
about
red
Ice
tape.
Cube.
Let,
Jay-Z
let,
We'll
is
talk
a
about
leader
Jay-Z.
in the community as well, right? And Jay-Z
He has
always
no new
speaks.
album.
He has no album. Okay. He has a platform every single day. Do you not feel like, I mean, in his wife's support of Vice President Harris, you don't feel, as a Harris supporter yourself, you don't feel like Jay-Z was kind of out of the picture in that situation, and you don't question why?
First, if Jay had some music that I could actually respond to when your question, I would have something to go off. But
Okay.
I don't have the Jay-Z album in front of me. So I don't know. Now in 444, yes, I think he made it very clear where he stands. But I'd have to go back to then. If you're asking me to do you're just saying in general
Hold on.
for me to
I would like to
respond to what
interject
Jay-Z
here.
hasn't said a word. So what am I responding to? Mike, you know Ice
Well,
Cube. But why is this so foreign what I'm saying? We all grew up on Ice Cube. And even after Ice Cube was just talking about politics earlier this year,
Man, we
last
all
year.
grew up on Jay-Z
well,
too,
We
man.
but
all right,
I'm
hold
not
on.
even talking
Let me
about
stick
Jay.
to.
But the
Can I
reason why
respond real quick? Let me
Jay
stick to
has
the
no
Ice
new
Cube
music.
thing.
What new music am I responding to?
All right, let me respond to the Ice Cube thing. And I see you're making this a music conversation when it comes to Jay, but when it comes to Cube, all of the things that
Cube
he
has
did
new music.
outside of music don't count. But let me say
Oh,
this. When
yeah.
he did all of the groundwork and the legwork to put together the contract for Black America in 2020, everything that I remember was he sent it as a bipartisan document to both parties. The Trump administration at the time, or the Trump campaign, they responded. They asked him if they could use certain pieces from his contract with Black America in their
They
platinum
didn't
plan that was
ask.
supposed to
They
be
just told
directed
him.
towards Black America, right? Oh, let me
They
finish.
didn't ask. Just
And
told
the
him.
Democrats said, we'll look at it when after the election. Well, it's 2024. Another election cycle come and gone, and Ice Cube hasn't heard anything from those guys. We had a hip hop 50 celebration where they brought everybody under the sun. He didn't get an invite to that either. So I'm not sure if you're expecting him to go buck wild on a party that actually somewhat tried to embrace the hard work that he put in. And it sounds like you want him to embrace a party that, for lack of a better term, gave him their ass to kiss.
When I see both parties, right? And I'll use Trump and Biden to represent both parties as I see it. Trump I see as a white man. Biden I see as a white man. I'm a black man. Do I need to go further?
Well, if we're
I
talking policy, yes, you do, because I'm
What
sure
would you
that.
like me to go
Doc-
further? You
no,
like me? You would like me?
hold on,
Is there
can I finish,
is there
please?
is there a
I mean,
white
how are you gonna
person?
ask me a question? You're not gonna let me
Is
finish.
there a white person that I'm expecting anything from?
Again, whether you're expecting or whatever, if when Dr. King went to Lyndon Johnson, wasn't expecting anything. He put something on the table. They got a bill passed at the end of the day, and
How
I'm
many
sure.
times?
Huh? I'm sorry.
How many? How hard was Martin Luther King working? Is Ice Cube going that hard?
What do you expect from Ice Cube exactly? I guess
I,
let me ask
I
that
did.
because
I swear to
is
God, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, why are you putting this on Ice Cube that you not putting on Jay Z?
no
What?
first.
So so
Super duper.
so
Let's rewind.
make this
What
clear.
Well,
exactly
Jay
do
Z
you
wasn't that type
expect
of
from Ice
rapper.
Cube?
let me make this clear. Y'all want me to accept assess Jay Z as a person because I don't have new music. So you want me to assess him as a person, right? So I've only heard a few statements from him in the last few years. So if I have to state, and those statements didn't really have nothing to do with politics. So I'm having to assess silence on his part. Now, Ice Cube, I don't expect him to work as hard as Dr. King because that
No,
would
no,
be
no,
insane.
no.
But
Let me.
when I have almost 20 songs, when I have when I have almost 20 songs coming from Ice Cube and there's nothing on it that even scratches the surface of the issues of our community, you think I'm tripping?
Can I can
Well,
I
no.
ask you a question?
Actually, Mike, before you go, real
Do
quick,
you
Mike,
think?
before you go, real quick, because I
Uh,
did listen. I listened to the Ice Cube album earlier, and he does address things in the community. Ghetto stories,
Exactly.
not like them, so sensitive. No, what's another one? I'm gonna burn rubber, egomaniacs, talking about these rappers. He does talk about things in his own way. My thing is, I don't expect the Predator, Death Certificate, America's Most
exactly.
Wanted, Ice Cube. He's
He
evolved.
addressed people like me. He addressed people like me on the album. And again, Ice Cube, because I know somebody is gonna watch this, somebody in your camp, or maybe even not. I love you, Ice Cube. What you do and what you represent, trust me. I love you like you are a hero and a pioneer of this culture. However, you know what I'm talking about, Ice Cube, because you've seen the inner workings of politics and you've seen the most treacherous streets around the world. So you know what I'm saying. These other people, they may think it's okay, everybody just chill. But you know that only certain people cut a certain way have the power to address certain things musically and to make it really do what it's supposed to do. And for you to say, well, I'm just gonna chill now or lightly step on it, because Ron's saying he's addressing some of them issues, which I hear you lightly stepping on. I think Cube, I think you know, as a student of someone who came up on your music, not just in the 90s, but the 2000s and the in the mid 2010s. I think you know what I'm saying, Cube. I
And
think
I
you know
think
what I'm
you,
saying.
as somebody who think that Jay Z is the GOAT, should not even be
Baby,
talking like
what
this.
new
Is what I'm
music
saying.
does Jay
That
Z give
this is
you?
this
I
is
want
really what
to address
I'm saying,
something
that
though.
you, as somebody who think that Jay Z is like
Jay Z's not. We're not
untouchable
talking about
and
Jay Z.
everything that Jay Z do is like golden. I think that you
What?
should not
What is
even be
golden?
speaking about this, Leroy. Like honestly, I really honestly do. I think that you ain't even qualified to talk about this because
No,
the person that you
super.
think that is the
Nobody you
GOAT,
know can
the
disqualify me.
person that you think
Nobody you
that's the
know.
GOAT, they don't even attempt to do what Ice
Super.
Cube do.
Super.
Jay Z does
I
not attempt.
specifically said
He
Ice
he
Cube.
does not
But
even
I
attempt to
specifically
do.
said
He
Ice
doesn't
Cube.
even
You
attempt to
act
do
like
what
I'm
Ice
talking
Cube
about.
did on his last album.
I
And
specifically said
throughout
Ice
Jay
Cube.
Z's whole discography, there's nothing on there that's socially relevant or anything throughout
There's
Jay Z's
nothing
whole
on social.
discography
There's nothing
that you can
socially
say
relevant.
that's as relevant as even what
There's
Ice Cube is speaking on right now in his new album at this weaker form that he's in. So Jay
so
Z
there's
has never been
nothing
as
relevant.
conscious. He's never been nothing that you trying to make Ice Cube be now.
Okay,
Jay
My
Z
so
has
point.
never
you're
been
on
that.
record. Okay, super. You're
He's never
you're
been
on
that,
record
fam.
as saying You're saying Jay-Z has never said nothing socially relevant.
He's
But
never
remember,
been
you
as
said that.
socially conscious as
You
Ice
said that.
Cube on any album. I don't care if it's
Jay
444. I
never,
don't care what album it is. He's never
but
been
you're
as
talking
socially conscious as
about,
Ice Cube ever.
what I'm qualified to do. You're talking about what I'm disqualified and qualified
You
to
know,
do. But
I'm listen, man.
you just said Jay-Z
I'm taking
never.
your
You
card.
said
Hey,
never
just like
said nothing
how
social
Yo,
Mad
that's
conscious.
Max
You said
crazy.
you said
took my God
Jay-Z
birthrights. I'm
never said
taking your
nothing
card
conscious, never said
as
nothing
far as holding
Oh,
social.
but don't
anybody to
put me
some
in
type of
that. Don't put
social
me in that.
standard or anything like that. As long as Jay-Z is your GOAT, don't ever try to
I'm
come at
not talking
Ice
about
Cube for
Jay-Z.
what
The
he
album
ain't
is
doing
called
or what
Man
he
Down
is
from
doing.
Ice Cube.
As long
The
as Jay-Z
album is
is your
called
GOAT,
Man
don't
Down.
ever question somebody else's
The
standards,
album is
man.
called Man Down from
You
Ice
can't
Cube. It is
question
not a
nobody
Jay-Z
else's
album.
standards, man.
It is not a
It's not
Jay-Z
fair
album.
for you to
You're
say
bringing
that.
up Jay-Z as a
It's not fair
deflection
for you
because
to say
you're
that.
bringing up Jay-Z as a
Somebody
deflection
that will
because
defend
Man Down is
Jay-Z
not
at
a
all
Jay-Z album.
costs. You will defend
Man
Jay-Z
Down
at
is
every single turn, no matter
Man
what it
Down
is.
is not
So
a
you're not
Jay-Z album.
qualified to talk about what Ice Cube ain't doing
Who,
enough of when
for the
Jay-Z
fifth
has never
time,
even touched it.
who do you know can disqualify me?
I just did.
You ain't got that kind of power.
I just did.
Wait, but
You ain't
wait, can
got
I
that
ask a
kind of power.
question?
Hey, let me
But can I
ask
ask a
a question
question?
real quick.
I don't know who you think you are.
Man, I'm me, man. I
I don't
just
know
took
who
it,
you
man.
think you
Listen, I'm taking it. You ain't
you cannot ever
qualified. You're not
disqualify me
qualified
for
to speak
nothing.
on what Ice Cube ain't doing enough of when your GOAT, Jay-Z,
I
has
didn't say
never
what he's
done it.
not doing enough of.
You can't speak
I
on
obviously
this.
said
You can't
I
even
said
talk about it. Jay-Z
I
is your GOAT, man.
Man Down is not a Jay-Z album. I keep telling y'all that. It's an Ice
Jay-Z
Cube
is your
album.
GOAT. Don't
I,
ever
Hey,
speak
hey,
about what somebody is consciously doing
nigga,
and what they
nigga,
speaking about in the
nigga,
community or what they
I
is
will
doing
speak
for
on
for
whatever
any
I
type
want
of
to speak
social
on.
climate, anything like that. Don't ever speak on it because Jay-Z is your GOAT, man. Don't ever do that.
You are not
You're
qualified to
not
speak on
qualified,
Jay-Z.
fam. I'm taking that
You
right
said
from you.
nothing he ever said had you said nothing he ever said had conscious social commentary. That
Not on
lets
the
me know
level
you
of
do
an
not
Ice
know who
Cube.
you're dealing with.
Not
That lets
if
me
you
know you
judge it.
don't know who
Not if you judging Ice Cube the way you trying to judge Ice Cube. Then you should
I said
never have nothing to say because
I said
Jay-Z is never. He's never
I
even
ran down a
close to
whole
that level of social
history.
consciousness.
I ran down
That
a whole
Jay-Z
history and
is
respect.
never on that level of social
hey,
consciousness as as
I
has
ran
Ice
down a
Cube.
whole.
Not even
I ran
close.
down. Well, first of all, you're disrespecting me now too, and I don't appreciate that as somebody who's always been. I
Leroy,
didn't
you
disrespect
disrespecting
you. You
yourself by doing
disrespected
this.
me.
You
You disrespect
disrespecting
me. I
yourself
don't
by
appreciate that.
trying to you
Doing
trying to
that. I'm not
downplay what
doing that.
this is what
I'm
I'm
not
saying. You
doing
pick
that.
and choose
But
when you want to downplay
you
people.
cannot
You trying to
qualify or
downplay people for what
disqualify
they
me.
not doing,
hey, hey,
but
hey,
you
hey,
hold
Look,
Jay-Z up
nigga,
to this
nigga,
social to this
hey,
high
nigga,
level.
hey,
nigga.
we can't have
You cannot qualify or
we
disqualify me. Get that out your motherfucking head.
we can't have
Period.
Man,
we can't
I
have a
just
show.
did. Like I said,
Get that
man,
out
I
your
took it.
motherfucking head.
I took
We
it, man.
You
We don't
cannot
want to
do
hear
that.
you. We don't even want to hear you talk
Yo,
about Jay-Z no more.
yo.
It's not no
Let
we. It's
alone
me
try
and
to
you.
talk about
It's not
how
no we.
socially
It's not
conscious
no
Ice
we.
Cube is versus a Jay-Z.
Hey,
Don't
bro. Hey,
ever
bro.
do that,
Hey,
man.
bro. Hey, bro. Hey,
You
bro.
should be quiet when it
I'm
come
gonna
down
do
to
what I
this.
want,
Can
nigga.
I
For
speak?
real.
Can
I'm
I
gonna do
speak
what
real
I want.
quick?
Who the fuck do you think you're talking
Can I
to?
speak real quick?
Who the
Can I
fuck do
speak?
you think you're
Hey guys,
talking
I'm
to?
talking to you.
Are
I'm
you
about to mute
crazy?
everybody.
Leroy, man, I can
I'm
talk
about to
calm to
mute
you
Nigga,
because
you
I'm
everybody.
don't
not no
know me.
internet thug, man. I'm a real thug, man. I'm a real person, man.
Super.
And I'll
Leroy,
pop
can I
up on
speak?
you.
We
Can I
I'm
hold on.
speak?
real.
We can do
I'm
that.
real in real life,
Can
man.
I speak?
Yo,
I
come
don't have
on,
to fake. I don't
chill
have to
out,
talk
chill
hard. I don't do
out,
none of
Hold
that.
chill
on.
out,
Hey
chill
guys, hey, can I
out,
speak? Can I
Hold
man.
on,
speak
my
for a
dog.
second?
Whatever you want to do, let's do it.
Can I speak real quick? I mean, I think I should be able to speak at least, right? Can I speak? Can I speak? All right. I think this conversation
This is crazy.
is moving from where we wanted to have a conversation. The point of this conversation was to have a conversation about hip hop and to talk about uh the albums that came out. And I think we don't need to take it to a personal space. As black men, we don't need to be on this platform screaming at one another. Let's give people space to speak, and you can
It's
agree
up.
to disagree.
It's up.
So
It's up.
I
Man,
understand what
I
you're
ain't
saying.
never
Once
got to
people
scream,
go
man. Because
to
like I said, I'm a real person, man. Like
it's up.
I do this shit in real life,
Guys,
man. Like you know, it's never nothing.
I'm not finished
And
speaking, brothers.
I ain't trying to be disrespectful to
For
nobody.
sure.
Brothers, I'm
For
not
sure.
finished speaking.
For
I'm
sure.
not finished speaking. Allow me the opportunity because I haven't spoken in 5 minutes or so. The point of this conversation wasn't to personally denigrate one another or to take it to another space. The conversation, the topic was Ice Cube and his album and how I thought the album could be classified as adult contemporary hip hop, being that he's a 55, 56-year-old man entering a new space. Leroy's argument is that, you know, he felt that based upon Cube's previous works, The Predator, Death Certificate, his work in NWA, America's Most Wanted, that he would should have touched on things more politically in this, and I disagree with that. I think he's in a different space, and if you watch Cube's moves over the past few years, you would expect the way he's moving right now, and I think he did touch on some socially relevant
So no heavy
topics
bucket.
on this album. So Mad Max is in the chat as well. I'll allow you to speak, and let's take this back to a more respectful place. Mad Max,
Uh,
please go.
all right, so I see what Leroy's saying. I see what Super Duper's saying. I do think it's unfair for us to bring in Jay Z. Jay Z isn't that's not his bag. So
It's
we
a
kind of
cop
have
out.
to
It's a
judge.
cop out.
We, but we have to judge a rapper based on what they've done. I don't expect Jay Z. I don't expect Jay Z to rap about social political topics that he's never touched on.
He's
Now,
done that.
If Talib Kweli comes out with an album and he's not talking all about social political topics, and somebody has an issue with that, Talib Kweli has made a platform on that. If you're saying Ice Cube made a platform on that, I can see where Leroy is going. But I could also see Super Duper's point with if you are a fan of a Jay Z or if you are a fan of a Biggie, you can't be that crazy over what Ice Cube is or isn't doing with the political debate. I get
Mad
That's
both
all I'm
Max.
saying.
sides.
Mad
I
Max.
get
Jay
both
Z is
sides.
not here. Jay Z is not. He has no new
I'm not.
album.
No, Leroy, I'm not disagreeing with you. I
So
agree. But
how
I'm
can we
just
talk
saying.
about new Jay Z music?
No,
He has
no, I
none.
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Leroy. Chill. I'm trying to play mediator because you guys there's a lot of testosterone in the building. We gotta
Man,
calm
Jay
the
ain't got no
energy.
new music. If y'all got new music from Jay, then let me know how y'all should respond. I don't have no new Jay music.
Now I hear you, Leroy.
Man,
I hear you. I'm just saying.
listen, man.
I'm
Like I
just
said,
saying.
this ain't got nothing to do with disrespect
What
to
I'm.
nobody, man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Leroy at all. All I'm saying is that we can't. This goes back to what I've been saying for weeks. If we gonna judge even a Kendrick Lamar on this standard, right? If we're gonna be like, well, he's socially fake, and we don't believe he's fake woke, and we're gonna use these standards to question his manhood or if he's standing on what he believe in, right? If we're gonna do that, right? We got to do that purely. So
Yeah, for everybody.
if
I get
Kendrick
what you're
Lam-
saying,
if
Super.
Kendrick Lamar is your goat or Tupac is your goat, right? Or Nas is your goat, we judging them based on what we judging them on. We can't try to use a standard that we not even judging a Jay Z on. We're not even judging Jay Z on this type of criteria, but he get a
I know, but
pass for not even attempting to do
I don't.
anything like that. But then we gonna come down
Jay's not
hard on
even.
the Kendrick
But
Lamar, or we gonna come down hard on the Tupac, or we gonna come down hard on the Nas for their social content for guys that
okay,
don't even
so
try to be social or don't even like
the, la-
or
the
even they attempts to be social fail. No,
okay,
we can't do that, man. It's like
okay,
that's really all I'm saying. Like if we gonna judge
that's
Ice Cube and we gonna come down hard on him for not being as
okay,
social as he was in 1989
okay.
in
No, no, no,
2024,
no.
that ain't
Cube,
cool.
Cube, Cube has albums in the 2010s that was a certain way. But when I last heard Jay Z, the album started off with Farrakhan on the intro. Let's start there. Then he went into a whole other bag about our history, lineage wise, religious wise. He went into a whole other type of bag. So if it's about Jay Z, trust me, he has the material to go there. But it's like,
Bro, this ain't about Jay-Z at all. All I'm saying
then
is that
why
you
did you
trying to
ask me
judge
about
Ice
Jay Z?
Cube on a standard that you're not willing to judge Jay-Z on, is what I'm trying to
But the
say.
stat,
Like,
but
regardless if Ice Cube ain't out here being the revolutionary that you want him to be in
if
2024,
if
Jay-Z never
Common,
attempted to be the revolutionary that Ice
I
Cube
don't
was
have no
even in
new Jay Z music.
2024.
I don't have no
Anything
new
that
Jay
Ice
Z
Cube
music.
said revolutionary on this new album
I
is
don't know what
light
new Jay
years
Z.
above what anything Jay-Z ever tried to say
I don't
revolutionary
have
on
no new.
any album, is
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
have new Jay Z music. So I don't know what Jay new music y'all talking about. In his whole catalog, you're telling me he never stood on nothing? I think that's fake. But also, if Common came out and gave y'all a whole album and there was nothing, and he was barely conscious the whole time, and it was damn near 20 songs of barely consciousness, y'all would be like, is that Common? So I
We
mean, what are
would
we
we
talking
would be
about?
like that. We would be
What
like
are we
that.
talking about? So
But I,
maybe
but
y'all
I,
have a different understanding of where I'm coming from with this Ice Cube thing, and I
no,
and I could hear that, but I don't understand what what I'm
Le-
saying that's not translating. The man almost had 20 songs, and this is the logo for a certain kind of rap. Now,
Leroy, I under,
I'm not saying he got to go out there and turn into Rambo. I'm not saying he can chill. I'm not saying he can't chill, but I'm saying not one record where it's some real serious stuff on the track. Come on.
Leroy, I
Well,
understand what you're
that's why I
saying.
disagree. Before you go, man, that's why I disagree. I think there was some serious records on the album, Leroy. I think there was a couple serious joints. For example, um, what's the song Ghetto? What's the Ghetto Story or something like that? What's it called? Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Ghetto Story.
I hear
No
you.
cap, no cap. 5150 was a kind of a funny song. You know,
Dude,
talking about a female,
Cube
not
is
like
talking
them,
about
so sensitive.
Cube's talking about how we need to respect him as an OG. The thing is that we do respect him as an OG. So he keeps saying that throughout the album. Y'all need to respect me because I'm this. I did that. I'm the nigga that something something. But we already respect you
Uh,
anyway.
Do we respect him though?
So, but you keep trying to tell us that you are this big person that we need to respect. But Cube, we are there. Like most people with a brain in hip hop already have that respect for you. But the reason why they have that respect for you is because your voice, Cube, is very powerful.
I
Like
think,
it is a very powerful voice. I'm
but
sorry.
but
So
Man,
for
is
you to
Ice
be
Cube voice more powerful than Jay Z's?
but super duper. Before you go into the Jay Z talk,
I don't have
Leroy,
no
I hear
need.
what you say. Leroy, I hear what you're saying, but I think where Ice Cube is looking at it as, and people might get at me for this. I think he's seeing the hoopla with Kendrick, and he's like, "You guys are doing all this for him. I never got this love." Or maybe he doesn't see the love, or maybe he doesn't think people truly respect him. When somebody like of Ice Cube stature has to resort to reminding people what he's done, that must mean he's not seeing people talk about what he's done.
But but
That's
but
probably
but
why
but
he's doing
but,
that.
but regard if you just listen to the album in a vacuum, and like again, we all gonna give our top 10 picks at the end of the year. Top 10 albums of 2024. I like the album. I thought it was adult contemporary hip hop. It's what I expected from
Come
Ice Cube.
on, man. We gotta stop with that, man.
What you mean?
When we
What you
talk
mean?
about
Why I
adult
gotta
contemporary hip
why I
hop,
gotta stop with that? That's my interpretation of it. Go ahead, Leroy.
no, when but I can't even go there because people gonna tell me I'm wrong about that too.
No,
But
let's
it's
have a
like
conversation about
people,
it. Let's have a
I have been
conversation.
studying this hip hop thing for a very long time, y'all. So when y'all say I'm wrong about what I'm saying about hip hop, it's like I don't think y'all know how long I've been looking at this
Nobody's
culture, man.
discounting it. I'm just
It's a
telling you how the album, how the album, how I interpreted the album. He's referencing aunties, chicks that was bad in the '90s.
look,
He's on his
if
OG
if
Unk talk on
But
this album, and I
but
appreciated
if
wait,
that.
can I add something?
Ice Cube told
I've
me he
heard,
wants to chill, I would say okay. If Ice Cube's like, look, I'm trying to chill, bro. I don't want no smoke with politics. I don't want no problems with them people. I just want to chill. I would say, you know what, Cube, I respect that.
but can I? I've heard Ice Cube's old albums, and his new album isn't that much different. Like, I mean, I get what Leroy's talking about the political aspect, but he's always talked about that one chick in the hood, the auntie. He has that on all his albums for the most part. The album's not that different from what he
I'm just
normally
saying,
does.
right. I got you, Mad Max. But the thing is this, right? This era is about everybody saying that they're so tough, right? Because the thing is like so sensitive. The opposite of that would be I'm tough. Now,
Yeah.
in this culture, what Ron was speaking to earlier, he was speaking to cancel culture or where you can't say certain things. He was speaking, and I've heard other people speak about a softening of the culture of people getting too lax or too sensitive. Okay, well then when I'm looking at Ice Cube, I'm looking at the definition of what it is to be tough lyrically. I'm looking at the definition of what it is to be hardcore lyrically. So if I'm expecting that, now I know he's an older statesman and I'm not expecting him to be totally crazy, but Ice Cube is the epitome of the strength that y'all think should be in hip hop. So if I'm looking at it that way, how am I tripping?
Yeah, because
No,
I guess
I understand what you're
I
saying.
guess we were looking at it differently. Because I wasn't when I came into the album, I'm looking at you know Ice Cube as a 55, 56-year-old man, as an owner of the big three, as an entrepreneur, as an actor, as someone who is trying to get more in the social commentary and in the political space, sitting down with Roland Martin, sitting down with Tucker Carlson.
We could chill.
I wasn't expecting Ice Cube with the Jerry curl. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't
Yeah, well,
expecting. I wasn't that type of
things
vibe.
are things are very serious outside Ice
I
But
Cube.
mean,
but
honestly, when the last time we got Ice Cube with the Jerry curl? I mean, like to keep it real
Okay.
musically,
he
when is
he
the
We
done
last
he
time we
done.
even
Are we
got
there
that
yet?
Ice Cube
we be
with the
clubbing.
Jerry
Yeah,
curl?
We be
So
clubbing.
yeah we like since the we been clubbing days, Ice Cube he been chilling
yeah, yeah,
musically, and
yeah.
but in his personal life he been standing on business. Is all I'm
But
saying. Like in real
I think
life,
this.
we can't
Yeah.
question if Ice Cube is standing on business in real life. Jay Z got questionable things that we questioning in real life,
Ah,
like
I don't want to
questionable
do the Jay
moves that
Z
he
thing,
making,
but
questionable
Yeah, but the
decisions.
thing
And
is
like I said,
though, the thing is
I'm not even trying to make this no Jay Z
the only thing we
versus
have
Ice
to
Cube
judge
talk.
Jay-Z on,
But if we
the
gonna
only thing we have
judge this man on like what he ain't doing, I think that we could, man. Come on, man. Like we could definitely hold these type of standards to a lot of people we talking about if we're gonna be doing that and playing this game. And that's my
we're
only
hold
problem with what you
we're
were
holding
saying,
Jay-Z
Leroy.
to the we're holding Jay-Z to the standard of silence. Because the only thing we got
No,
from
I'm
Jay in
not.
the
I'm
last
not.
2 years is
I'm
silence.
you holding Ice Cube
No,
to a higher standard than Jay Z. When Jay Z has the more money, the influence, the power, he has more power influence than Jay Z. I mean,
I
than
don't
Ice
know how.
Cube. So if anything that you
Okay,
expecting Ice
Jay-Z,
Cube to do,
if,
Jay Z should definitely be doing it. Is what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna say anything about Ice Cube, you should definitely be saying that about Jay Z. That's all I'm
but
saying.
super. The reason why I'm talking about Ice Cube is because he has a new album. Jay Z doesn't have a new album. So if I'm talking about the context of two albums, and there is no album from the other person, I can't comment on with silence, but I
Yeah,
can
but even
comment.
album wise, man, even album wise, if you're gonna question
I
Ice
don't know
Cube's
Jay Z
substance,
personally. I can't say
I
Jay
don't
Z
think
doesn't
that I don't
produce.
think that it's
I don't know
fair.
Jay
I
Z.
don't think that it's fair from you for somebody who thinks that the Blueprint is one of the greatest rap albums of all time. The Blueprint.
yeah, come on, Super.
Like you
Come
but you
on,
questioning
man.
Ice Cube. But the Blueprint
And
is in
I
your
gave
top
Ice
five
Cube
albums
props
of
like
all
20
time.
times.
Like let's not
I
do
gave
that,
Ice
man. Like it's
I
not
gave
fair.
Ice
It's
Cube
not fair
props.
to hear that. It's not fair to hear this, man. It
I
ain't
gave
fair,
Ice Cube
Leroy.
I gave Ice Cube props like 20 times in a row already. So what am I what where is the
Okay,
diss?
hey, Leroy, let me ask
I
you a
don't
Where?
question. Leroy, let me ask you a
I don't
question real
think what
quick.
I'm saying is lost.
Hold on,
But Ron,
time out.
before you ask Leroy the question, can I just say what I think is wrong with the Ice Cube album?
Go ahead.
I think Ice Cube's album. I, he needs to update his flow. That's my only issue with Cube. I don't really hate the lyrics. I don't really hate the beats per se. His flow, he's still stuck in 90 like 1 or 89 and he has to update that flow.
80,
It's only so
89,
long to
89 his flow was going he was doing way more with the flow in 89 and
I mean
91.
yeah, Leroy, you might be right. I'm just saying it just sounds like
I
old.
hear
It's
you.
not even like as good as that flow. And if you're
I
not gonna
think what you're
do,
talking
he needs
about
to update
is
it or modernize it.
yeah, what you're talking about is the spacing. He's way more relaxed. He's way more
Yeah.
relaxed. He's so chill and relaxed. And that's cool because again, we're not gonna tell our OGs they can't chill and relax, but we all know the OG that's very like when they talk, they're still very aggressive. We know them kind of guys like that are like in their 60s, but they're still like very aggressive, especially when they talk about issues of our community. They're very aggressive. They tell you like it is, and they're very like this is that and da 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 da. Ice Cube is he's chilling. He's real chill right now, and his flow kind of caters to that spacing of chilling. Whereas in
Yeah,
'89 and
but
I'm,
'91, Cube is a
I think that Ice Cube been in a position to where, like, if he was gonna be passing the torch to somebody, it should have been a Jay Z or somebody that be take that's taking up this type of torch and passing it on to the new generation. Like with the things that Ice Cube in the rap subject matters and the things that Ice Cube was rapping about and the things that we love Ice Cube for, that skipped the generation, right? And now that's why we looking at a Kendrick Lamar to speak on certain issues, and it's part of the reason why he overly overrated when it comes down to things, because he's one of the people of the generation speaking on social issues and things like that because it skipped the whole generation. It skipped past the Jay-Z and the guys that was hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
but
to
Nah,
Jay
be
well,
Z,
super duper. We
passing the
can't say
baton to.
that
Ice
because
Cube should have
Nas.
been passing the baton to Jay-Z. It shouldn't
Jay
be
got
Ice Cube
Kendrick.
passing the baton to
Jay
Kendrick Lamar.
Jay got Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl, allegedly. So Jay is still involved doing what he. I'm sure in that performance there's something that speaks to black people directly,
But
and
but
I'm
but
sure.
wasn't
I'm
Kanye?
sure that Jay knows that.
But wasn't Kanye speaking on social issues? And I mean, there's been a bunch of rappers who kind
I
of did
mean,
that.
I mean,
Ice
It's
Cube is
just
Common
Ice
did
Cube is
it.
a different level,
Common did
y'all.
it.
Common did it. They're all after
Oh,
Ice Cube. I
let me.
can't really say that.
I didn't get a chance to ask my questions real quick, so I want to ask Leroy a couple of questions. I think we can kind of bridge a conversation because I do want to talk. Leroy wanted to talk about Shyne a little bit before we get off of here, but I got a couple of questions. So, apart from him not meeting the expectations of how he was, how you remember him to be, do you think the album Man Down was a good album? I mean, what do you think about the album? That's part one. And part two, my second part of the question is Kendrick had a line on the it's a comedian named Andrew Schultz. I think he does a podcast with Charlemagne the God. He said
Yeah.
that white comedians, we gotta stand up when white comedians talk about black women. Do you think that's a fair assessment? That's the second part of the question. And the first part of the question is, what do you think about the Ice Cube album besides his lack of political commentary in your eyes? So is it a good album, a
Okay.
bad
So
album? Or what
yeah,
is it?
I have to be honest. I have to be honest and say I didn't really like this album. And it I wish I didn't say that, but I'm gonna be honest because people think I like everything. It's just that a lot of what we cover I did actually like. I was being genuine when I said I like those things. This album I'm not really a fan of, and maybe I'm the one that's tripping, expecting Ice Cube to go a little bit deeper lyrically. Maybe I'm the one that's tripping. I don't think I am because I grew up on a very lyrically strategic Ice Cube, and even when I was an adult, he was still that way. So now, um, to hear where what he's doing is not for me. So no, I didn't like the album. Now the beat wise, I appreciate the chill because I like to chill. I'm from California, so we like to chill, ride, and relax. I appreciate that. But the times are so serious that we live in. If I explained all the ills that are going down in our community right now, it would be so crazy that it's like sometimes I expect someone with the voice and the knowledge to lead to put something on the table. It's just that I wish that he would go there. You know what I mean? But as far as you mentioned the comedian and what Kendrick said about the comedian,
Yeah, let me just stop you real
I
quick
want
because I'm gonna segue it because you just made a point. You say we
okay,
living in some perilous times right now, and you
yeah,
expected him to kind of
yeah,
touch on that. So would
mm,
it be fair to say someone on the West Coast like Kendrick? Do you think Kendrick touched on these things? And if he did, you think
yes,
the jab
yeah.
to the comedian is touching on those things?
Yes, I believe Kendrick is speaking on a myriad of very serious topics in a very serious way. And Kendrick is standing on the square and doing what we need him to do as the artist that he is. You know what I mean? Um, as far as his comments on the comedian, and it's like this, I just want to be very clear. And again, maybe I'm tripping, right? If I don't judge every book by its cover, and I know that we are all human at the end of the day, and I know that if I'm not going to blanket statement white people as a whole, because I know some white folks that are cool, but as a black man who knows his history very deeply, like I know the details of our history, I'm not riding for nobody on that side. I'm riding for black people. Now that may get me in trouble, but it's like I'm not doing no caping unless they are totally right in the situation. Now again, that doesn't mean black people are perfect and that doesn't mean all white people are bad. I'm just saying if I have to make a choice, between Kendrick Lamar and a white comedian, I mean,
Well,
you know what I'm
I'm not.
saying?
I'm not going. I'm not going to make a choice. I think comedy. I think comedy is a place where you're supposed to be offended. I think comedy is offensive. And I don't think that black comedians or white comedians have the monopoly on offending people. When I go to see a comedy show, I want to be uncomfortable. I want to laugh at things that may not be funny. A joke that I might not make in my workspace or might not make in my home is just a comedy thing. And I don't think we should be policing comedians. I think that's kind of low hanging fruit. And I thought that was kind of whack.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because I think Bill
yeah.
Burr has been saying these type of jokes for years. Nobody said anything. George Carlin, all types of comedians. What's my man's name? What's my man's name?
No, I got you.
Gary Owen. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
now all of a sudden, now it's some,
I know.
it's back to the sensitive times that we live in, and now you can't.
No,
Now
it's
we just
cool.
so woke we can't take
Hey,
jokes now.
exactly, Ron.
It's
It's
just weak.
cool. If you
It's just
if
weak
you
to
if
me.
you're a white comedian, don't come up to me joking about no black women, man. You know what I'm
So
Hey,
saying?
I mean,
I
I'm
think
not. I'm not.
I think
Leroy, I'm pretty sure
I
I'll bet my last dollar you've probably seen a white comedian tell a joke about black people and you laughed. Come on, bro. Let's stop. Let's be
I have,
No,
for
no,
I
no.
have,
real.
a,
I mean, I get it.
I
Let's
have
be for
another
Yeah,
real.
question to that.
Uh,
I have another question to that.
I know. I get it. I get it.
I have another question to that. But um, why I have this issue with when it comes to like always making it a black and white thing because I've seen black comedians, I've seen white comedians, I've seen George Lopez, who's obviously not either, but Hispanic. They make jokes about every race. So I'm not going to get into that. And if you're going to talk about Andrew Schultz, you stand next to Eminem. And we've heard those tapes with Eminem and what he was saying to black women. And he's a rapper. So, I mean, keep it in your lane. Keep it in
Yeah,
your
I mean,
lane.
like I
Keep it
said,
in your lane.
there are some white folks
hey,
that are cool. There are some
don't
white
have
folks.
selective outrage.
There has been some white folks that have done good things in this culture. Like as far as business wise, there are some people that have been honest and upfront about helping artists and doing things. Now I'm not just blanket everybody, but yes, I have made a choice between black and white. I have made a choice on what I'm choosing.
And before you guys switch to the next topic, I want to address what Super Duper was saying about Kendrick on the one mic and what was the other one? The Main Men from Pac. That was the other song.
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
reincarnated
Yeah.
over, right? Because Leroy, you said something about we've heard 1,000 songs, and and you see, how do I put this? I think hip hop is just so it's just very lazy. Because to be honest with you, I don't have an issue with him rhyming over the Made Men beat sample or whatever, or the one mic sample. But if you're rhyming over the sample and you're using the exact same cadence and you're
No,
the same flow, and
yeah.
we're hearing a clear difference, yes, that's an issue. And I've heard artists in recent years, over the last 10 years, take somebody's flow and put it on a different beat or take that beat and use a different flow over it. It's not
Kendrick,
like it's unheard of. there's a
Kendrick
song
has
by pop there's a song by Pop Smoke, right, called PTSD. He's rapping just like 50 Cent, but
yeah,
the
but Kendrick
beat
has
is
used his
totally
own
different.
flow. Kendrick has used his own flow so many times that I think we know he got his own style.
No, but I'm not saying that. But if you're going on the Made Men beat, why do you have to use the same exact pop flow? You could have picked a different
That's
flow.
a concept. It's a concept to the song, but
Hey,
I hear what you're saying.
let me ask you this, Leroy. Let me ask you
We
this.
have heard it.
This just your honest opinion. This is I just want a yes or no answer. Do you think that Kendrick did it better?
He's going after
Did he?
somebody. He's
No, I'm
going
just
But it's
after
almost
asking.
like
Like I'm
a
somebody.
just saying.
cult.
Okay, even if you're gonna go after somebody, okay, did he do it better?
So no, so no, the
Did
person going after is not really going to be better than the original. No.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think that's what I was basically saying about the Tupac reincarnated song or whatever. I
No,
don't think
I
But
that
think
but
it does
he
it.
he gave
but
us a
to
whole
I,
album. That's just one
but
song. He gave us a
I
whole
but
like the song, but did he do it? Does he do it any justice? Is it better? Is it even equal?
but to boast
I
it.
think that people hold Pac in such a regard that it's impossible
Man, come
to
on, man.
even.
No, it's not. It's not even. It's not that,
I,
man. It's not
I'm not.
that. I
I,
don't think. I
but
think that's like over. That's over. That's an overreaction and like a cop out. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't have
but
to like. I don't think we got to do that, man. I don't think that we.
But but
Like
to
me personally, like I said, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm looking for a Lamar to pass these guys. I'm not looking to judge Kendrick Lamar to hold him back
But
because he's the future.
what if he already has passed him?
no, he
What if
hasn't.
How?
he?
I don't.
He hasn't.
Okay,
Okay, so
He
listen.
has not
Like, no,
passed him.
no, 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 no,
okay,
Leroy. Where has he
okay.
passed him at? On what
What
level
if?
has he passed him?
I got you. I
He
got
is.
you. What if? And again, I have not studied this. I'm just going off the top based on what we're talking about. What if Kendrick has delivered more flows, has delivered more musicality that's original, has delivered more conceptual albums with the theme that run through albums consistently. So as an
Mhm.
artist, what if he already has surpassed that? I'm just a
But he could
question.
have. All right, that's a question. But Leroy, I have a question. You watch sports, right, Leroy?
I'm not into sports as much as the fellas here, man. But I'm
All right.
saying
But
Kendrick has delivered so much conceptually and lyrically and stylistically that it would be a very tall order for me to think about somebody who's done that better than Kendrick. And I don't know if Pac has more flows than Kendrick. I don't know
he
if Pac
doesn't.
has more conceptual albums than Kendrick. I don't know if Pac. I
Man,
don't know
he
if
don't
Pac.
have to have more of
No,
nothing. The
but
Kendrick pass up what he did. He don't
super
have to
duper
have more.
but super. You don't
Mhm.
have to go in that bag because the issue that I think that Super's having with Kendrick over those beats, it's almost like the Michael Jordan Kobe Bryant thing. Kobe Bryant copied all Jordan's moves. He wasn't as nice as Jordan. So what was the point of copying all the moves? What was the
I
point?
don't know,
I
man.
grew up on Kobe. I didn't see Michael Jordan. When I was 16, 17, 18, I was arguing with
I
people
no.
probably super
Right,
duper's age and
you're
saying
right.
Kobe was better than Jordan. But after a
You're right.
while, you just end up looking goofy because he was never Michael Jordan.
He was
You
not
could
better than
copy the move
Michael
all you
Jordan,
want.
but he's still Kobe. But he was still Kobe though.
Yeah,
So I
and
mean,
Kobe
he's
was
Kobe
nice.
Bryant. Yeah. So it's like he ain't got to
Kobe,
be
Man,
better. He ain't got
I,
to be
I
better
really
than Jordan.
I don't really want to I don't want to pile on to
but
Kendrick, and like I said,
no, but
I
there's
think
a
Kendrick.
but super. There's a difference between what Kobe did and what like a Penny Hardaway was beginning to do. Where
No, Mad Max.
you take a little
There's
bit of the
definitely
Michael Jordan stuff, you take the magic, and you do something new.
there's definitely a difference, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not afraid to see the difference, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm a hater because I see the difference, and I think that we all see the difference. Really, when it comes down to it, the people that's willing to argue, like the same thing. What you're saying, that's a great example. People that actually seen Michael Jordan versus the people that grew up with Kobe but didn't see Michael Jordan. Yeah, like the people that seen Kobe, they would swear that he was better than Michael Jordan. But if you seen them both in their times, then you'll be like, no, you know
Michael
what?
Jordan was
Kobe
better.
is nice,
Michael
but
Jordan
no,
was.
he ain't Jordan.
Right.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I
Like,
mean, yeah.
and
Right. No, I
and
hear what you're
and
saying.
I think that by Kobe trying to mimic Jordan's moves so much, it hurts Kobe more than anything. Like, yeah,
That's
okay,
my
it's
point.
it's a way for him
That's
to
the
garner
point.
some respect. But if Kobe was his own man and we didn't see the Jordan in him, imagine how great we would think Kobe was without seeing the Jordan in him.
Like look
You
at
know what I'm
Put it
saying?
like
Like
this.
that's
look at Steph
Put it
Curry.
like
Look at
this though.
Steph
Put it
Curry.
like
The
this.
young kids love Steph
The,
Curry
the game
because
has
what
changed.
he shoots like Ray
You've
Allen. He
been a
plays like
basketball
Steve
fan.
Nash.
You've been a
and
basketball
that's
fan
part of
for
that's part of
two
that's part of
generations.
Steph's greatness too, though, because there's nobody before Kobe.
Hey,
There's
Leroy,
nobody before Steph.
Leroy, go.
That's
You,
part of why Steph is
yeah.
so great.
Leroy, go
No,
ahead.
all that is true. There's not a wrong to what you guys are saying, but you guys have been watching basketball now for over a generation. So you are now experts on the sport of basketball. So now picture that to rap. When Ice Cube makes a song about the military in the early 90s, or he
Yes.
makes a song or he makes a song about the radio in the early
Hmm.
90s. And we fast forward to 2024, we've heard 100 songs about the radio. We've heard a bunch of songs about the military. So now and now with the internet, it's a totally different play. But I'm saying we are now experts at listening to rap now. We are not new at listening to rap. We've been listening to rap for 30 years. So Kendrick got to play on a game. He can't do Kendrick can't make a record with one flow. He can't do it. Kendrick can't make a record where there's no conceptual basis. He can't do it because the game is so advanced. He can't just fire off lyrics. Everything has to be surgically precise because we're experts. The hip hop listener is an expert. We've been listening to rap for 30 years.
But
Yeah, but
let me ask
we
you,
but
let me ask you this, Leroy. What if you don't want that though? What if you just want something simple and basic? Like, for example, I'm gonna take a popular Pac song. How do you want it with Casey and JoJo? I love the way you activate them hips and push that ass
That's
out. Got
cool.
a nigga
Yeah,
wanting it so bad I'm about to pass out. You know
no
what I'm
doubt.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Just something simple like that. What if that
No
resonates
doubt.
with you more than the concepts? And is it okay if something as simple as that is either him or
No doubt.
me, champagne, it's something like that, so simple
No doubt.
quotation
I
can
mean,
resonate
I
with you
think
more than the concepts, and that could be okay.
I think back in the day, we look at hip hop as it was very advanced. When I think a lot of hip hop in the late 80s, early 90s is shooting from the hip. It's not super advanced. So when rappers are making songs, they're speaking to their base and they don't even really get a critique from their base. Like when they put an album out, they may get a few letters from the label, but now when Kendrick drops an album, the very next day there's 100 critiques all over the internet with people deep diving in every single bar. So he's playing a completely different game. So no, he can't just be simple. No.
yeah,
Now and
but
now
the point of hip hop is to always be fresh, current, and
yeah,
update your formula. I think what's, and I'm not even trying to diss Kendrick because I don't really care. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to make you kind of understand what Super Duper point was, because you guys had a little back and forth about that. What he's saying is that you can do all this and be fresh. Like I said, if you listen to PTSD by Pop Smoke, that is a 50 Cent flow. He's rapping exactly like 50, but the beat is not a 50 Cent beat. I've heard ASAP Rocky on a song called Keep It G take the
yeah.
whole Bone Thugs and Harmony flow, right? But it's on a boom bap beat, like on some New
But
York boom bap beat. Like it's
this is
totally
why, yeah,
different. We never heard that before.
this is
Like
why I'm kind of
it's different.
disappointed. This is why I'm disappointed that Absol was so busy tonight when we tried to talk to him because I was going to talk about just that. If you listen to his album, it seems very simple. This must be some simple music, but then when you go back and figure out that there's double meanings there, it's not so simple. So it's like he's playing a different
I,
game.
I
He's
I
playing a
really think
different game.
that the best music is not as complex as people try to make it seem.
Yeah, the best music
Like
is
I think
simple.
like for stuff to be classic, it has to be everyday man relatable and like in a relatable way. And it's
I
some
just
things that can
Got you.
be it can
I'm
be too complex to even be good. You know what I'm saying?
but
Like
I
I'm
some
here.
things can go
but
so far above your head.
I
but what
think
I'm
Go
we're
ahead,
saying,
Leroy.
already
what
there. I think we're
but
already there. Like these records that we get, they are very complex. Like we get a lot of records a year, and a lot of them are very complex. So we're already here. Like we're in we're living the future. It is
No, that
when
I
you were
think that's
when
I think
you
that's the problem. I think that's the difference between the way that me personally and you personally see music. I think that you trying to look into
please,
more of the diversity of things and trying to pick out the differences and like pick out
we're already
why
there.
it's more special, why it's special on its own
We
versus
already
why
there.
something that's just classic and that has stood the test of time is classic and it is what it is. Like you try to pick out the nuances in things that what makes it good, it makes it special. But
I,
the things
I don't
that
know.
you like to point out,
I don't know if we could have classic debates without time. Like if an album comes out and we talk about it 10 years later, we could have a classic argument. But when people want to have a classic argument the same year an album comes out, I don't know, but I think we're already there complexity wise. Like, do y'all not hear that these rappers are out here throwing a bunch of lyrical devices in their lyrics? They're doing a bunch of different flows. They're doing a bunch of different dynamics. The beats are changing. The concepts are changing. The themes are moving. Like, we're already there. It's too late. We're already complex. It's too
yeah,
late. Like,
but Leroy, I respect that. I understand that. But maybe that is what's ruining hip hop. Maybe that is what has been ruining hip hop. I personally, I don't like the beat switch. I think the
I don't
beat
think so.
switch makes no sense because if you was doing, if a beat switch was one, I don't know if I like both beats, right? So what if I like the first beat and you switch it to a
I
whack
got
beat? Then
I
I
got
don't like half of the song, right? Or maybe
those
I
are
don't like either beat, or maybe
these
the first beat was kind of weak and I like the second beat. I
Yeah, that's
and hip.
that's the growing pains. That's the growing pains of trying to push the boundaries. Y'all want people to be better than the legends. So now we have to talk about growing pains. When I rap, I try to push the boundaries. When I do this podcast thing, I'm looking at the legends, Sway, Combat Jack. I'm trying to go there. Like that means pain. That means pain, growing pains. That means disappointment. That means arguments. That means not coming across how you want to come across. That means pain in order to perfect style. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I hear that, but it's like, what's the point? Like, we want, because, like, when you really, like, all right, take Primo example for his beats. They're not that complex, but the beats last a lifetime. The Represent beat on
Love
Illmatic is
Primo.
classic. There's
The
not that
beats
much
on
going on the beat.
LL's album with Q-Tip. It's not like they're like super advanced or nothing. I mean, the soundscape could be advanced, but it's not like the actual each sound is super advanced. But it's a level of expertise there. But I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to go back to like simpler. And I get it because there is a place for that. If you got an album with 10 songs, it's times you could be simple on there. You could be simple on track 4, 6, 8, 10. You could be simple. But I'm saying if you got a song with 10 tracks, you can't be complicated on nothing.
No, you could be
Nothing.
complicated on a track here or there, but it's just like when I hear you have an album, you have one song, there's five producers on one beat, there's four different beat switches, the song has no direction, you're just rapping and you're switching pockets, I guess, but it's not sticking because hip hop has always been a hypnotic enchanting
Right.
because they're rhyming, so they're doing an enchantment. It's really a spell that they're casting on the instrumental, and the instrumental's supposed to put you in a zone or a spell along with their words and their melody. That's why they do all that. So if you just change it up how can you put the people under a quote unquote spell if every 2 seconds it's a different beat? We don't want to hear that. We just
I, I
don't.
I think just us as a people where we're at, we have so much advanced technology. We have so much advanced thinking. Like when you have a conversation with somebody, even if it's a dumbed down conversation, you could tell there's a lot going on with them in their mind and the chambers of what they're talking about. So we already complex. Like remember when you was a little kid and you was like, man, in the year 2000, it's gonna be like flying cars. Well, we about to be in 225. It's time for flying cars. We got to stop with this just drive on tires. It's time for some flying cars. Like show me that. Like that's what I need this music to do cuz the music is infinite. I could infinitely do something in music cuz I'm utilizing my mind, not my muscle. So I could infinitely do something. It's time for flying cars.
But what if the
I'm
flying car doesn't drive as better than this 1967 Chevelle?
someday the
Then we have to fix that.
Yeah,
But
someday
what
the
if I just
flying
enjoy?
car
What
will
if I
be
just
better.
enjoy the old cars better? What if I just enjoy, and that's
Yeah, that's
okay?
what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm saying you ain't got to drive in a flying car every day, but at least have one flying car that may be on Saturdays. You could jump in your flying car like that. You ain't got to do it every day. I'm just saying, like we gotta advance. We keep looking back to the '90s as our standard in 2025. Like I can't do it. We've already passed that. You got dudes that could freestyle the styles that were in the 90s. They could make that just freestyling. We got to move past that.
No doubt. We
But
want
Yeah.
to
they
get the
can't
show.
make the songs of the 90s. And to Super's point, I'm from this generation or quote unquote era. You think I liked hearing old heads talking about, yo, my era, we had the best rappers? Like, I don't like that, but I have to give it up to them because they got the best rappers. Their rappers were creative. It's very rare that you see somebody, you know, sample a Legends beat and they do a completely different take on the beat. Normally, it's if I sample this old Legends beat, I have to rap in that Legends cadence, rap in
Yeah,
his flow, and I just bring my words to it. That's just a cover. You're basically doing a cover or a freestyle. That's like going to the radio station and rhyming over who shot you. That's not
yeah.
gonna move people for real.
I mean, there's a lot of people from your era though, Mad Max, that were incredible. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Without that argument works the other way too. Um, but Ron, he had a point about Shine too. So I mean,
Yeah, let's go to
I don't know.
let's go
Yeah,
to
we could get the
let's
time.
go to Shy.
Yeah,
So no,
yeah.
no, go
Shine. Only
tee it
thing I
up.
wanted to say about Shine is, people can feel however they want to feel about the incident with Puff. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened like that. I'm going off what I heard, right? But as far as rappers entering politics, I can appreciate that move. Now, granted, it's a very dangerous move. People hate politics. They hate politicians. But again, when you're a rapper and you've been rapping for 20 years, Shine, he had his career, right? It's not as glorious as maybe like a Common, right? But when you've been rapping for 20 years, you learn how to talk to people because you're always talking to people. Like you're always writing a rhyme that's strategic, that sounds like a speech, that goes out and you motivate inspiration in other people. So by the time you leave that arena, you are proficient at inspiring a mass crowd. So I think that that's a tool. And if rappers want to go into politics and when they're in their 50s and 60s, I can salute that because I think you have the tool to inspire masses of people. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And
And Sean
that's it.
has a good voice. He's a great voice, so he could.
I think that's a good point. I think I might get into politics one of these days, and y'all vote for me. But Mike made a comment on the last show, and I disagree with Mike for about 20 years with this, because when Sean first came out on that Total remix, they were saying he sounded like Biggie. I never heard that. I think Mad Max, you could speak to him for being from New York. He just sounded like one of those cats that was from a different place, like he was from like either South America or the Caribbean, and had that timbre in his voice. I didn't get Biggie from that. I mean, they put a vocal effect on that Total joint that kind of made him a little pitchy. That kind of sounded like Big a little bit, but as far as the way he flowed, his album, I never got Big when I heard Sean. That's just me.
Well,
I never
I
thought
can't
that.
I can't really speak on the Shine. That's really before my time. I do remember old heads in New York saying that nigga sounded like Big. I
I
do
never got
remember
that.
hearing
I
that.
never got that. I've been saying that
So
for
I
over
do
20
remember hearing
years.
that.
Yeah,
I
Only
I
never
thing
mean,
that I
heard
would
I
that.
say
kind
that
of,
I think that he had the same voice tone, but I don't think that he had the same rhyme pattern to Shine. I really don't think that he sounded like Biggie at all. Like
But
Shine.
I also think super
I
that
think that Shine. I think first you have the voice thing, and I think you could forgive that. It's not his fault he has that voice. Just like Action Bronson has a voice like Ghostface, it's not really his fault. But I do think they're in the patterning. I do think there is some big patterning there. Now he is a little bit more fluid in the turns, meaning from the end of a bar to the beginning of the next, he's a little bit more fluid. But sometimes he uses like a staccato type of stick and move flow, and that right there mixed with your voice, that was Biggie esque. I gotta call him on.
that was probably a product of being with Puff. But I will say this about like that also probably has a lot to do with Biggie dying, to be honest with you. That was just very raw. And I know in New York, if people who have never been to New York, Biggie is basically a demigod. They worship Biggie over, particularly in Brooklyn. He is a deity in Brooklyn. So, like,
No doubt.
they don't really, once when Biggie died and they carried his body through Bed-Stuy and all that, for anybody to even attempt to flow like Big, to a lot of, especially if you was from Brooklyn, it was blasphemy. Nobody talks about this, but Jay-Z to this day, when dudes from Brooklyn hate Jay-Z for even reciting Biggie lyrics. They hate him to this day. I hear it all the time. Oh, that nigga was biting big. He's whack. Like, even
I,
his
I
own
think
borough hates him at times. Because Biggie is viewed as a
I think they're
deity.
being crazy, man. Because Jay Z will drop an album, and there'll be 1,000 rhymes on the album, and now everybody's gonna stop and talk about the two lines per album, or the 3 lines per album that he used from Biggie, but they don't talk about the other 997 rhymes that were from him. I think that's kind of crazy.
Now, Leroy, you're right, but like I told you, in New York, especially Brooklyn, Biggie is viewed as like a demigod. Like that is Hercules. That is like Poseidon's kid. Like he's really like viewed like that. So if you slander Biggie, and especially in Brooklyn, it's up for you. Like they don't play about him basically.
I mean,
So anybody
Absol
with
is
a
saying
vocal
something.
tone,
Absol is quoting his homie on his album. So he's doing the same thing. It's just his homie wasn't famous. So I think Jay Z is quoting his homie. I think Jay Z looks at Big like, oh, that's my friend.
no, I agree
You know,
with you. I agree
Hey,
with you. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you how the
I got it.
the common man in Brooklyn thinks. Like especially in Brooklyn, like Biggie is to not be touched. Like you can't really say nothing to him or about him because people literally they get the jazz face. They really look at you like you said some blasphemy. Like, well, I dare you spit a big lyric and act like it was yours.
I
That's how they
think if
talk
Big,
about
I
Jay
think
Z.
if Biggie and Pac were here, I think if Biggie and Pac were here, they'd be like, "Yo, we appreciate the love, y'all, but y'all have still not tried to push past what we did. Still, that's
And I
crazy."
think that us as Pac, Biggie, Nas fans, Jay Z fans, I think that's the only standard that we really like. That's why we look at the game as being watered down. Like me as a Nas, a Jay Z, a DMX, a Prodigy, a fan of Mobb Deep, a fan of Wu Tang. I'm looking for the game.
Redman,
I don't want this shit to end. Like I want people to get better. I don't want this shit to end. So I'm never trying to be age biased or talk about things like in a not even in like a nostalgic way because you know
Right.
you gotta live in the now when it come down to this shit. So I think that, but I do think that it's fair for us to have these standards on
That's
these newer
fair.
rappers. Like it's definitely fair. That's all I'm really saying, man.
I think
Like
I
we
think
shouldn't we
It's fair, but we got to know. We got to know when somebody has met the bar, though. If I put Section 80, Good Kid, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, Black Panther, Mr. Morale. If I put all these albums on the table and I'm just talking about just the content, you don't have to always like the music, but just the content. He is reaching the levels, or maybe
but
has already passed the levels of the 90s.
see, this is what I'm
I don't
saying,
know about
Leroy.
that. I don't know
No,
about
no,
all
no,
that.
no, no, no. And Leroy definitely don't know either. This is what I'm saying. Like this is why I got to keep calling you out on this shit, Leroy. Because what? Listen. I want you to answer answer the
I'm here.
question.
I'm here.
What Kendrick Lamar album is better than Jay Z's American Gangster?
Damn.
Like honestly, like I'm just which Kendrick Lamar album? Like you as a Jay Z fan and you
I
as somebody who
understand. I understand. I think
no
Jay
no
was.
no 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 man, I don't want you to understand, Leroy. I want you to say
I think
which
Jay.
album is better.
I think Jay was actually a real gangster at one time in his life. So you
No,
can't be better.
that's not what I'm asking you, fam. I swear.
You
I
can't
Leroy
be
don't
need to be
better
a
than real
politician.
life.
you dancing, fam. You dancing right now.
That
Yeah,
Which
was
Kendrick Lamar
super. That was slick of him though. That was that rapper wordplay.
yeah, that's
yeah,
super
but
slick. And that's all I'm
Kendrick
saying.
is
Like if you
Kendrick got to be better than every rapper, not just Jay
no,
Z.
no,
So
no,
you
he
got
don't
to
have to
put
be better than
every
every
rapper.
rapper right
You
now.
got to put
I'm
every rapper
saying that
on.
which even though we hold Good Kid Mad City as high regard, even though we hold this album as high regard, even though we
Right,
hold To Pimp a
right.
Butterfly in some high regard,
But
which
did you
of
just
his
hear it?
albums? No, I'm asking you as a rap critic and
I
as a
got
Jay
you.
Z fan,
I got you.
which Kendrick Lamar album is better than American Gangster?
I got you. But at the beginning of the show, I said that I judge rappers for who they are. I don't think Kendrick was ever a gangster at the level of Jay Z. So
Sam,
I
this
don't
ain't
think
got nothing to do with gangsterdom.
I don't
This
think
ain't
he
got
can speak on gangster activity. I don't think he could speak on hustling activity the way Jay can. So, but what I'm saying,
But
you saying that just based on that criteria alone that he can't make an album better than Jay Z just because he can't touch
but
on the gangsterdom or he can't
uh,
touch on
yes,
he
the
can't touch on the
reason
street life?
Yes, the reason why Jay is so fluid and easily expressing a street ethos is because he doesn't have to think about the streets. He lived it. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to
Okay,
think about hustling.
and
He
and, and
lived.
that's why I'm saying. Okay, so Leroy, I'm gonna give you credit, right? I'm gonna say that what you're saying is 100% right, and I agree with you. So this is
Right.
why when somebody like me talk about this shit when it come down to Kendrick Lamar, if Kendrick Lamar with his great discography, if what we holding it to now, if he doesn't have an album better than American Gangster, right?
Okay.
Then
Okay.
then then what type of classic does he have? Because if
Okay.
you as a Jay-Z fan and a Kendrick Lamar fan, if you can't say that Good Kid, Mad City is better than American Gangster. Whatever the hell this name of this album is, I can't
I
even think
can't.
of it right now. But
I don't know
if you
if I
can't
can
say
name.
that,
GNX. It's
yeah,
after
I don't know
Park.
if I can
if you
name
can't
any
say that
album.
these albums, if you can't say that Kendrick has an album better than Jay Z's fourth,
If you are a coke rapper, and you're telling me you got a better album than American Gangster, I need to see it. But I can only measure you as a coke rapper. If you ain't talking about hustling, then what are we talking about? Because American Gangster's about hustling. We talking about a good kid from a mad city. He not about that.
I would say that Kendrick
So
Lamar album
switch
is
it to
more
Nas
is
then,
this.
Super.
Let me get
Go
in the
ahead,
super chat. Let me
Max.
get
Because
this. Let me get
no,
in the
because
super chat real quick. Let me get in the super chat real quick. My mere thought says Leroy can't see how pandering for Jay Z since the inception of this show. Leroy, you can answer. You can directly respond to this. Since the inception of this show has severely hurt his credibility. Leroy, speak to that.
But I mean, who? But who am I? Who am I? Who is my? Am I credible to you? I don't know you. But I respect you. But listen, if I'm talking about Kendrick Lamar, if I'm talking about Kendrick Lamar, that's not Jay Z. If I'm talking about Ice Cube, that's not Jay Z. So while you keep bringing in another person,
No,
it's to deflect. You're deflecting on what I
I'm not.
said
It's
about
it's
Kendrick.
really not a deflection. It's not. It's not.
Because you can't
Leroy.
talk about
Leroy.
Kendrick. You can't talk about
Leroy.
Kendrick. You got to bring in Jay Z in order to downplay Kendrick. I don't
No,
got to
no,
do
it's not.
that.
It's not. It's really not to downplay Kendrick. It's just to measure his greatness. So if Kendrick
Yes,
Lamar,
I'm
no,
measuring
no,
Kendrick by Kendrick.
no, but hear me though. Listen, if we all like, if you as a Jay Z fan, well, you would say that American Gangster is maybe his third, fourth album, right?
Right.
Right?
But
I don't even
why
think
would you
Leroy has it in
yeah,
his top
why would you
five.
set a standard? Why would you set a standard by one of the greatest MCs of all time
No,
for
no,
somebody else?
that's not really that's not the standard. What I'm saying is if we're gonna be putting this guy on list, if we're gonna be gassing up his albums and all this stuff, right? Then
I'm just
then
talking
then
about
why what, how come his why his best album isn't better than your goat's fourth best album?
I,
Sixth best
I
Eh, eh,
think
album to
I
some
think
other
we have
people.
to acknowledge I
Fifth,
think we have
fourth,
to
or fifth?
acknowledge I think we have to acknowledge that there are different type of people that make different type of music, but what Jay-Z does don't take away what Kendrick has done.
But
So
I think
I can't use Jay-Z to smash on Kendrick. I'm not
but
going to do that.
I think what but Leroy, what I think what Super Duper's saying, and I'm gonna
Talk
use a
about one
different
rapper
no,
at a time.
but Leroy, but I think what Super Duper's trying to say, and I'm gonna use a different generation.
Jay-Z's one of the
Rock
greatest MCs of all time.
no,
Hardly not a
no. I hear that, but at one point, Melly Mel and Kumo D, those were the greatest rappers of all
gotta
time,
stop with this
right?
Jay-Z
And
thing,
then
man.
Rakim came in, completely changed the game. That was the standard. And then Nas came in, and then Hove came in, right? So the standard does change when somebody actually surpasses the standard. If we Kendrick's been out for 15 years. We 15 years into Kendrick's career,
So we
and
can
people
judge
are not
Kendrick
really
off of
saying he's the real GOAT for real. So he has not met the standard. That's just
okay,
Super
so
Duper's basically getting
And,
everybody
at.
and,
gotta go.
and not
Everybody
only
gotta
that,
go.
and like I
So
listen,
every rapper got to get out because none of
not
them have an album. None of them have an album better than American Gangster. None of them have an album better than if we're talking about coke rap. So everybody got to go, not just
I don't
Kendrick.
think it got nothing to do with
But
coke
Everybody,
rap or
because
not.
but
none of
This
y'all
Leroy,
just about
but the
this
jump
just
from
about the music.
Rakim to Nas happened.
The jump from, yeah, I know, but we
I don't think
use
it
an
has.
anomaly, something that's out of the norm. But again, when people talk to me, if we're talking about one rapper, and especially with a rapper with multiple albums, then we could just talk about the one rapper. If we're going to talk about another rapper that has
No,
nothing to do with that rapper, then why would we do that
but
when we can talk about one rapper at a
but
No,
time?
no.
but
What I'm not.
but
No, that's not Leroy.
but
What I'm saying is how do we how do we quantify how great someone is if this guy's greatest album isn't better than Jay Z's fourth or fifth best album? Is all I'm saying. Like if we as a if hip hop
Because
community,
Kendrick
like even this album, even this album that Kendrick just dropped right now, right? Can we even
Kendrick's
say
job
that
is to
is
be
it
good
better
at
than
what he does.
no? But what I'm saying is
Kendrick,
this, fam. Is this album better than King's Disease One? Is it even better than King's Disease One, or is it only
in
King's
my
Disease One level
in my opinion, I believe musically and stylistically, Kendrick does a little bit more than Nas does.
on this album?
So,
So you
but
saying that
again,
do
man,
you think that this album
again,
is this album better than Magic Two, King's
I
Disease
I don't
Three,
even know who
Magic
I don't know
One?
who
Is it?
qualifies. Yeah, but you guys are continuing to ask the same question in a different form. You know what I mean?
No,
And that's
we asking this question just to be able to judge Kendrick
we.
Lamar properly as far
But
as his
listen,
discography and
but,
everything. Like it's
but
a
listen,
proper question.
but listen. Y'all know not only am I a big Jay Z fan, I'm also a big Lupe Fiasco fan too, right? So Lupe doesn't have better albums than Jay Z, but Jay Z don't have better than albums than Lupe because they both exist in two totally different dimensions.
yo, Leroy,
Yeah,
you
They
need
are
to
that's
be
not
your
the
working
fandom
with
same.
saying that,
Shyne,
man. That's
bro.
wild.
You need to be
That's
working with
wild, man.
Shyne. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look,
it's
let me tell you what I mean,
that's a
right? Let me tell
wild
you what
take
I
to
mean.
have.
Let me explain. Let me explain this point.
Let me tell you what I mean. Somebody could say, well, well, Drogas Waves and Tetso and Youth is not better than Volume One and American Gangster. But I could
It's
be like,
not.
yeah, well, they're not even the same, even close to being in the same arena. Lupe is on there talking about slaves that turned into ghosts that started sinking slave ships. That's alien rap. So I can't compare that to American Gangster.
Yeah, yeah, but you
Lupe
but
Lupe
but
rapping
Le-
for 9 minutes straight. You have to be a crazy person to try to
but
sit there and rhyme for
but,
9 minutes
but
straight.
But Leroy, you being slick because we do this in every art form. When it comes to basketball, we compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. They don't play the same position. They don't have the same role
Yeah,
on the team. So if
right.
we
But
doing
I
it
can.
with that, we do it with actors, right? I've
Yeah,
seen
we if we can
people
do it, we
compare
can do it.
Denzel Washington to Will Smith. We've
But
done
even
that
if you
before.
win
Like,
that argument, even if you win the argument, what did you win? Because if I say this album is not better than American Gangster, nobody wins nothing from that point. That point makes no win. There's not a win
Hey
on
man,
your side.
I
There's
want
not
to.
a win on my side. Nobody wins nothing for that take. It's just a
Hey,
pointless.
I get it.
I
Like,
just want to say this real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, Leroy. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. It's all love, and this is why we authentic as a channel. You know what I'm saying? Because we drastically gonna differ on our opinions about this or that, and this is why we authentic. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's no disrespect. This is rap music. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not driving to California to fight you. You know what I'm saying? It's all
right?
love.
I
You know what I'm
appreciate
saying?
it. I
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate
you
it.
know what I mean? It's all love and shit, and it's just all hip hop conversation. And this show that
Right.
we love this shit and that we really serious about talking about this in a serious way. And it's no disrespect to Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar deserve everything that he getting right now at the moment. And like I said, I didn't even want to like start an argument or even come in um trying to compare Kendrick to
Right.
Tupac, Kendrick to Nas, Kendrick to Jay-Z. I didn't even want to do that. But if we're gonna be it was going to have to come up regardless. Maybe this was a topic for a different day, but
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of people saying that this is over to Pimp a Butterfly, And some people was acting
Yeah.
like To Pimp a, yeah, some people act like To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic. Some people act like To Pimp a Butterfly is his second or first best album. And so if we judge
Right.
him just basically strict off of that criteria alone, then yeah, we got to judge on if this is better than Life is Good or The Blueprint 2.
But
Like we
but
got
but
to.
su- but s- but super. What
Right.
you seeing a bunch of hype beasts. That's what you're seeing
I'm
is
just
hype
saying
beasts.
I tend to compare things that are comparable. Like if someone's gonna compare Daylight and Ad Soul, I could see that. If someone's gonna compare Kendrick and Lupe, I could see that. If someone's gonna compare Pusha T and Jay Z, I see the
Hey, but
comparison.
Leroy though,
But
but don't you think that it's worthy of a comparison if they're gonna have like list of magazines and Billboard going to be putting Kendrick Lamar over a Tupac, Kendrick
yeah,
Lamar
no,
over a Nas, Kendrick
I hear you.
Lamar over a Jay Z. If they're going to be putting him
That's
over like
marketing.
people that if they're going to be putting him over those guys, it's definitely worthy of the conversation on
I
if
mean,
the
I think
discography
that
is even worth even the conversation. And really,
I
based on the
hear you.
discography, this conversation is not a conversation really. And then this ain't got nothing to do with us being old, hating Kendrick Lamar, hating the West Coast, anything like that. It's just this just like you as a Jay-Z fan, you said out your own mouth that you don't believe that this album or any Kendrick Lamar album is better than Jay-Z's fourth best album. That's an
Okay,
indictment on what Kendrick Lamar has done. And that's
but
all I'm really
here's
saying.
right.
It's not hate on Kendrick Lamar. It just
I
is
got
what it is.
I got you. But let's say I'm writing from a publication and I'm a huge Jay Z fan, but I'm writing about an article about Lupe, right? At some point, I have to be real. Now, in my bias, I'm looking at American Gangster the same way I look at the Godfather movie. Ain't no movie better than the Godfather, right? I mean, it's the Godfather. But now, if somebody shows up with something that's a little bit better, I gotta start being real. Now, if I put Jay Z's discography on one side, then I put Lupe's discography on one side. At some point, I gotta start looking at, well, maybe did Lupe did get close, or maybe potentially past him,
But
musically wise.
but but
Just musically. Maybe at
but
some point, by the time he got to drill music in Zion, by the time he got to Samurai, by the time maybe he has start to pass a little bit musically. And I'm gonna have to take my feelings out of take my feelings out of it, and take the fact that he's a Lupe, a totally different era. Lupe is not about no street action. Lupe is not about, he's just about being the good kid in Chicago. But if he's starting to pass Jay on, musically, I gotta kind of be honest.
no,
You
no,
know what
Leroy. You see, Leroy, you're being slick, and this is how I'm gonna catch you,
I'm saying?
because
Okay.
we know the best things get determined over time, right? The
Okay.
pyramids from Egypt and the pyramids from South America and all those things, they get lauded because over time, those are structures that lasted. There's a bunch of structures that have not lasted over time, right? Music is similar in that vein. The issue that we're having is that a lot of these guys that we're talking about, we rank them high, but they don't have strong lasting music. Hip hop's in a special place. It's 50 years old, so we literally have lived through enough time where songs have lasted 40,
That's true.
50,
That's true.
30,
Very true.
20 years. And people
That's
are and this is no, I'm not even trying to diss Kendrick right now.
that's very true.
But he
No,
doesn't have songs that lasted over 10 years for real. That people are
bro,
feeling strong about for
I hear
somebody
you.
online to say this new album is quote unquote better than To Pimp a Butterfly, you basically said To Pimp a Butterfly was always mid. That's basically
Yeah,
what
you
you
said
admitted to.
yeah,
You
that's what I'm
basically
saying. Like
admitted
you
that
basically,
if you
yeah,
saying that.
you admitting that To Pimp a Butterfly is really garbage, really.
That's
But
what
but
you
listen,
So you
saying
can,
in a vacuum. Like, that's what you're really
if this
saying.
is if this is his second or third best album, you really admitting that his discography is really this ain't
And
even
they
nothing
ain't
to talk
nothing
about,
because
really.
I see.
as
I don't
time went
agree with
along,
that. I don't agree with that way of
all those
thinking.
songs died. And those
I don't
songs
agree
aren't
with
even
that way
10
of
years
thinking.
old.
The reason why I don't agree with that thinking is because if we take a pyramid or the pyramids in Giza, we're gonna say, "Damn, that took a lot of work. It took a lot of mathematical genius, etc." But if somebody shows you a skyscraper, even though the skyscraper is not mathematically comparable to the pyramid, it's still a skyscraper, though. Like
Yeah, but they're not,
skyscrapers take a
they
lot
still
of
not gonna
work.
say that that skyscraper is more of a modern marvel than
Uh,
the Sphinx or
yeah, it may
than
not
the
be.
Great Pyramids. They
It
not.
may not be. It may not be, but it's still a genius in architectural. It's still a skyscraper.
That's where this is where we agree at, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if we're gonna judge this Kendrick Lamar album on the standards of today, and we're gonna judge Kendrick Lamar on the standards of today, then yeah, it's all fine, it's all good. He definitely deserved his ranking as far as today. But where it gets complicated is where they come out with these billboard lists, these complex lists, these lists, and he's over a guy like a Tupac, where he
I
didn't
hear.
even do a better job over the beat than Tupac did over the beat. Or
It's
he didn't
true.
do a better job than Nas did with his one mic approach than Nas did 20 years ago.
Tupac,
You know what I'm saying? Like
Tupac,
we gotta
Tupac was a student of the arts, and I think if he was here, he'd be like, "Yo, I appreciate the love. That's first. I think Tupac would be like, "I love that y'all love me, but y'all are supposed to take it way past where I took it. Like
yeah,
that's
but
what y'all
do you
supposed
think
to."
that artists are doing that? Like honestly, as like from your real opinion, do you think that artists are pushing the bar? Do you think that they more lyrically inclined than they was back in the day? Do you think that they more complex with their rhyme schemes and their metaphors? Like
Some, some.
I,
Yes,
I don't
I
think
think some are up to that.
no.
Yes.
I don't listen, Leroy. I don't really think that you truly believe that because whoever you name, they not on the level of whoever you can name that's better than them. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like, yeah,
but
you
but
can name.
but levels are based in fame. I'm not talking about fame. You know what I mean? Levels are based in
Man,
fame. Really,
I'm just as much as a rap head as you, fam. I listen to just as much underground music to you. I listen to the lyric ability. I like you're not the only guy that listen to this shit like seriously and like take this
then I
rap
don't
game
know.
serious. We all
I
do,
don't.
fam. Like I said,
I don't
I
know
think
why what
Mad
I'm
Max
saying is
do.
a
I think we
problem.
all do. Mike do. Ron do. We all
So
listen
I
to
don't know.
this
So I don't
with
know
like
why the
seriousness.
So I don't know where the problem is. If y'all are like me and you understand what I'm saying, then I don't know where the arguments are coming from. Because if we pull up Rap Genius and we start breaking down everything Lupe has said, and he has 1,000 different meanings behind his work, that is some incredible genius level stuff that is incredible. So if I see it and you also see it, then I don't know how are we
Hey,
arguing?
let me jump in here. We're at the 3 hour mark tonight, and something's going on with my. I'm in the basement of my home, and it seems like I don't know if my wife turned the heater off.
Your wife don't want you up is upstairs, Ron. We get it.
She turned
You
the
kicking
heater
us
off or
off.
something. It's starting to get
Not,
cold.
no, I apologize to everybody for the
No,
absol
no,
thing. You know what I'm
Leroy, I'm gonna
saying?
let you cook in a second. Let me just say this real quick. Let
We're
me
gonna
say
make
this
that
real quick.
work.
Um, I want everybody to hit like and subscribe. I want everybody to hit like and subscribe. I want us to get to 100,000 subscribers so we can have that big festival that we're talking about. A little housekeeping this week. Monday will be Mike Check, Mike and Servan. Wednesday Leroy and I will pull up, and we maybe start pulling up even more Wednesdays in the future. But we have a special pre-Thanksgiving show on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll get Absol back, and then look out for us on Wednesdays. We might not call it the weekend around. We might call it something else. But Leroy and we'll figure that out and try to do some segments. And I know Leroy's somebody having some different type of formats so we can keep the show a little bit different type of flavor. But hit like and subscribe. Go around real quick, Mad Max. What's your final words? And we'll go to Super Group and then Leroy. You can close this out. So Mad Max, final words.
My final words is I wouldn't be Mad Max without some slander. This is Kendrick's a part of his first verse on Peekaboo. This is the lyrical genius people talking about. Peekaboo, I put them buggers in my chain. Peekaboo, 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Peekaboo, 7.62s, I'll make them plank. Peekaboo, pop out, you better not smut my name. Peekaboo, put two fours on a 405, peekaboo, uh, Sasio and Pepe if I'm doing pasta, peekaboo, why you acting tough on IG Live, peekaboo, you know my little off the rocker. Look, that's future level. I'm sorry. That's future level.
I mean, future is future out here.
Well,
So
on that
Yeah,
note, Mad
that's
Max.
the weakest song on this whole CD to me. I
Well,
can't
well,
lie. I don't like Peekaboo at
well,
all.
well, on that note, Mad
That
Max,
was
we appreciate.
bad bar work. I just wanted to call it out. That's
On,
it. I'm
on,
gonna leave it
on,
there.
on that note, Mad Max, that's a decisive final word. I'll go back and listen to the record. I want everybody else to go back and listen to the record too, man. We appreciate you tapping in with us, brother. Checking with us on Wednesday.
for sure.
Super duper final words, man.
Hey, my final words is this, man. You know, much love to Kendrick. It's definitely a disappointment on my first listen, but as the time then went past, the album is better than I initially thought it was. And it's it is what it is. I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's super fire. I'm not gonna say it's album of the year. I'm not gonna say anything overly positive, but I'm not gonna say anything overly negative about it. And it's all right. It's fine. It's cool. There's a lot of straight music on there. It's bar work on there. It's not as bad as I initially thought, but it's not as good as a lot of people trying to make it out to be. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where this place in his discography. I don't know what this means to him. But for me, as somebody that was already on the outside looking in, it doesn't do very much to move him up, move him down, to do anything for him as far as like where I rank him. And it definitely does nothing for me to like, it does nothing when it comes down to him being ranked over Tupac or Nas in these commercial lists. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, respect to him. I don't want to hate on him. Let him have his weekend. This is great. It's good. We got something else to talk about. It's great music out there. It ain't horrible. It ain't bad, but I can't act like I'm overly excited or overly anything about it. But I'm not gonna sit back and super hate on it either, man. So, then my final thoughts. Much love, Leroy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I love the passion, fam. We do this thing, man. We
Yeah,
gonna get it
that,
in.
that that's all it is, man.
Yeah,
That's all it
yeah,
is passion, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Ain't nothing more than that. It's just passion.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I appreciate
for
you, super
sure.
duper, man, brother. Pull up on us next week, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Hey, I got my list ready too, man. So
Hey, yeah,
let's
let's get it. Let's get it popping, man.
I,
Send me
I
the joints. Let's go over it.
yeah, I'm gonna send it to you too, because I think we're gonna be the only ones with this list out here too. So I haven't seen no references. I haven't seen nobody come up with this list. So when we do it, man, it's gonna be one of a kind. So
It's
you
gonna
know
be
what I mean?
fire,
Like,
man.
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
How many people you got on the list? 10 or 20?
we're gonna do 20, man. We're gonna do 20, and
20? All right.
I'm gonna
Sure.
send my I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm give myself some bail right now. I ain't got no duplicates on my list. So I'm trying to let everybody get their shine on.
Fine.
Everybody know where other tracks and other CDs from other artists rank. But for me, you getting one on the list just so everybody else can get some shine and everybody else can get some respect out there. So, the top 20 list, I know we should be quiet about it because they like to steal our ideas,
Yeah,
Ron.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Let's keep it
it
let's keep
it
it
is what
quiet.
it is.
Let's keep it
Yeah,
Right.
for
quiet because
sure.
So
we had a
For
you
sure.
can't have you. So if an artist, just real quick before Leroy go, if an artist drop 4 projects, you only gonna put one, the best one, on the list. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna get
this this
clarification.
this 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 is our rap group, top rap group list, top rap album list.
Okay.
So I'm not going to double up on Wu Tang. I'm not going to like this. Me personally, I ain't telling Ron what to do, but me personally, I'm
Oh,
gonna
this is
have
all time.
yeah. This is gonna be an all time rap group album
Oh, wow.
list.
Oh, okay. All right. Fire.
Damn.
Fire.
man. Why you tell them, super? Now they gonna take our
No, it's
shit,
fire.
man.
I mean, we gotta give them something to
Because
anticipate,
they
fam.
was
You know
already
what I
they
I
was
mean?
didn't even.
But
I thought
they,
you was
hey,
just talking
what?
about the year.
yeah,
No, no.
we doing the year one too. We doing the year one too. But Super hit me a couple weeks ago. It's like I got an idea to do the top 20 group albums of
Got it.
all times. I was like, yo, cool, let's run it. but now he let the cat out the
Oh,
bag. That was gonna be
oh,
like a reveal.
so it's just group albums. Oh,
Yeah,
It's
damn.
just group album.
we doing that. We doing that, and at the end of the
Ooh,
year, we're gonna have Leroy's list, Mike's list, Servan's list, and my list of top. I'm gonna do 10 of
That's
10
cool.
hip 10 hip hop albums of the year. We're gonna do that.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. You can do
And
10.
and
You know
I
what I
I want to go ahead and let you know I'm gonna give you my number 3 album of the year already.
Lotto.
Lotto.
It's
Whatever that
mean? Man.
ish album was
Sugar Honey,
called.
yeah, big
Honey
Sugar Honey
Iced
Iced
Tea.
Tea. You know what I mean? That's
That
number
was just
3.
ridiculous.
Number 3. I got it. Just the
Hey,
cover alone. The
I ain't
That's
cover
gonna
not
lie,
even
alone.
number
Ron.
three, Ron. Stop lying, Ron.
It's hey, Ron's Lotto fandom is starting to get a little creepy, man. I can't even
No,
front.
it's no. It's not fandom. It's just
Yo, that's
no. It's not
ridiculous.
fandom. It's just an appreciation of the art. That's all it is. And and like Leroy's saying, people gotta take it to the generation gotta take it to the next level. She's taking it to the next level.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
you
please.
gotta take it to the next level.
She's not even
Like
Lil Kim.
That's all.
Hey, but before I go, man, I know Kendrick getting all the shine, but you know, shout out to Bodie James, man. That Bodie James album, it ain't gonna never reach the potential that it's supposed to because Kendrick gonna outshine it. But if you love that hip hop shit, you love them soul samples, you love them beats, go listen to that new Bodie James, fam. That shit is hot. I like it. I love it.
no,
No
no
doubt.
doubt,
No.
for sure, for sure.
All right, Leroy
Yeah.
Green, take us out, brother.
The only thing we gotta say is right is on certain issues. There's no right or wrong if you feel a certain way about what happened in the past. That's great. The stuff that was great from the past, you're supposed to speak on that because that was great, right? But there are some things that are happening that are great right now. I don't want to lose what is great right now, even if it's a little bit, because the rappers coming out of right now are gonna build on what happened right now. It's just like the blog era rappers, they built on what the 90s era rappers laid the foundation. Blog era built another floor. This the pod era. We're building another floor on top of that. But we gotta continue to grow, man. I'm just talking about artistically and musically. We have to continue to grow. Like, and if we're not growing, like we're stagnant, I don't think that's a good place artistically. So I'm gonna call it like I see it. You know, like most things, I'm gonna say something positive about. Some things I'm not gonna like, but we gotta grow, man. You know what I mean? And I apologize to everybody for the Absol thing. I don't blame Absol for what happened. You know, they let me know. I could tell they would be kind of busy, but I didn't know that it was a video shoot. If I knew it was a video shoot happening, I would have scheduled it for another time. But I'm gonna try to, we gonna keep working, man.
Yeah,
You
and
know what
all
I
the
mean?
haters that's criticizing us for even having the interview, go somewhere with that, man. Y'all can't even get nobody
Yeah.
on the phone, man. So y'all whack.
Hey, you gotta be a hater not to not appreciate the effort, man. Like,
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? That's why I said shout out to Leroy, man.
Yeah,
Straight up. Shout out to Absol.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Leroy got blue the week before, so
He
I
gonna,
don't think.
yeah, and
So I don't
we
understand
gonna
the
have
issue.
more people coming on. We got Nappy Roots next week on Friday about to drop. We're gonna try to get this. I was trying to get Q, but since Leroy don't like his album, I don't know if I can get Q. I'm just joking. But
Nah,
anyway,
nah. I'm
we're gonna get
I'm
Q.
trying to get legends, man.
We gonna
I'm
get
trying to
Q,
get the legends.
and we're gonna
Man.
get some more folks. We probably gonna get Roz Cos, and we're gonna get in the big interview, that Ron got coming up. Y'all wait for it.
Stop.
Big Ron and Lotto, we got an interview coming up. Y'all,
Oh,
just let y'all
please.
know.
You should get ASAP
Hey, but
Rocky.
I got a
That's what you
studio
should
for
We
that
gotta
one.
do.
get out.
We ain't doing that one on the Zoom joint. We're gonna have a nice studio. It's gonna be nice. Y'all check it out. It's gonna drop probably about February.
Yo, Rod,
February,
stop
Man,
with the
February.
hey,
lotto, bro.
Got you.
hey, Ron gonna be interviewing Lotto seat cushion and shit.
Nah, nah.
It's gonna be
Nah. It's all love, man. But make sure y'all hit like and subscribe. Check us out on Mondays. Check us on Wednesdays. If y'all traveling for the Thanksgiving holidays, make sure you're safe with your families. Enjoy your families. Food, football, family, faith. That's what it's all about. Be safe on those roads, in the air, on the airways, on the
LaMelo
planes,
dropped
trains,
50.
automobiles, whatever. So it's all good, man. Y'all appreciate it. Big up to
Yeah.
us. Big up to y'all. We appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Peace.
salute,
Peace, y'all.
salute.
Hello.
Oh, bye.
Next time. Yes, sir.